now that you've started it, then you take your drink. You're supposed to speak first.
Hello, welcome everyone to the stream of June 28, 2025, with Laurie and Corey Cole playing a little bit more of Quest for Glory 3, which might be Wages of War and might be Seekers of the Lost City.
No, it never really actually got to be Seekers of the Lost City.
Hi, I'm Corey Cole. Oh, I have a hat here.
Oh, you do. You got you the hat because you wanted it. And there it is. It's a great Hero U. It's nice and clean.
Whee.
Obviously.
Yeah, it got cleaned from that
yeah.
county fair, and it's been clean ever since.
Ah, yes.
And Laurie is hatless and too far back.
I have the sudden urge to quote Joshua, yes.
/ WOPR?
War Games.
It's WOPR.
I'm not sure what that is. Yes. Hope everybody's well. Greetings from Canada.
Greetings. Well, we love the Julia Eckler song about War Games, which was called War Games. So it's Greetings, Professor. Indicate your access, please. I've been waiting at the back door such a long time now.
Terminal connection made.
You can sing it.
Terminal connections made. How are you feeling today? Log on, Joshua, and enter. Shall we play a game?
Yep. Anyway.
Yes, the computer. Okay.
Okay, anyway, but we're here. We're supposed to be continuing our stream, so let's see. What did we do? A couple weeks ago, we went to the county fair. I don't remember if we talked about that on stream.
It was moot point.
And it was just a county fair. But they have great cinnamon rolls there.
Yeah, I think we mentioned it because we did mention the fact that they had cinnamon rolls from our...
in the sign carving place from Bass Lake.
So, yeah. Other than that, we haven't done much since then.
Not
of
much.
Excitement.
I'm gradually, but very close to the end of winding down the family and estate things that I've been dealing with for the last 5 years. So I will have more time. Whether I
use it wisely.
Whether I use that wisely, we'll see.
Hello, Brumben. Happy Saturday. It's cinnamon rolls. Yes, cinnamon rolls. Yeah.
And good to see you all. So we are, as we said, continuing with Quest for Glory 3, Wages of War, but I guess we should chatter for a while, because we usually do.
Yeah, we do neither, yes.
Let's see, this is the end of the month of June. In the month of July, we will be attending San Diego Comic-Con, because we do that.
Is here.
And I think that's late July.
Is here, too.
We have a... late September, we are finally making our 30 years delayed trip to visit the Greek Isles, and particularly the island of Crete, which in Quest for Glory 5 is imitated by Marete.
Yeah, Marete.
Marete, Laurie calls it. I always call it Marete. But
yeah, I
Marete.
know. I always pronounce it Marete, but it, to rhyme with Crete, but of course Crete isn't
It's actually Crete.
Yeah, so it's
so this is Marete.
Yeah. Home of the Minotaur.
That's right,
indeed.
and King Knossos. So Laurie and I, grew up reading a lot of books of mythology. We read stories and various things. Then we both read Edith Hamilton.
My proudest book was this huge Larousse book of mythology that I happily read the whole thing. That was my proudest Christmas present one year.
And
Just
I had Bullfinch's Mythology was one I read. So we read a lot of those stories, and we, when we're talking about doing D&D like stuff, we thought it would be great to set something in classical Greece among the myths and legends, and that was also part of our game plan with the Heroes Quest / Quest for Glory series, is we wanted to take the player to a different locale each game, so that it would be exciting and new, and not just going over the same territory over and over. Which, of course, to a producer is the nightmare of sending the art budget through into the stratosphere.
Yes, but Sierra never paid any attention to that. They didn't actually pay enough attention to our games, and that's why our games were so huge. is because there was no way to
They let
control
us get
it.
away with it.
Yes, exactly.
And they sold well, so they didn't care to let it, clamp down on something that worked.
We will give a review of what we've gone to so far in the game, but we haven't gotten very far. Let's just say it that. I think we're only on day 4.
Something like that, day 3 or 4.
Yeah. So.
But we've done a lot.
Yes.
A lot of stuff has happened in those days, and I think the timeline of the game is relaxed, so that if you spend several nights sleeping in the inn and stuff, nothing much happens until you trigger it.
No, you really get kicked out of town. That's what was the whole point. That's why we're in the Simbani village right
true.
now. We got kicked back, and you had to go through the inn.
Yeah, we had the meeting with Raja, Rakesh's brother, who is the leader of the Lion Tars in Tarna. And basically, Rakesh swore a pledge on his honor to stop the war between the Simbani and the Leopard people. And we basically got pressured into making the same pledge. Might have been able to get away without it, but I'm not sure. So we are pledged on our honor to do that, and we've had a little object lesson in the game about what happens if you are declared honorless. So you're a non-person.
Well, we haven't actually seen the results of that yet. We have only seen the event. We have not seen what happened to the thief yet.
Okay.
Yes, I still
trespass
love running
is
around
bad.
Samari at night, getting to play those myths were great. Really, yes. So yeah, the Quest for Glory 5 is really supposed to be more of a sandbox world with that lets you actually have fun with the world. Yes. Yes, we haven't been permanently kicked out yet. Yes, we have not done anything.
We were sent off to do our mission.
We've been good little mage boy.
So we've been exploring the Simbani village, and we learned that their magical spear, called the Spear of Death, has been stolen, and they are certain the leopard men did it, and they're very, very angry. And that alone would be, as far as they're concerned, cause for an all-out war. Which, if you're familiar with the way, fighting and magic work in role-playing games, pretty much means they're about to be obliterated by the leopard men.
Oh, I see.
And we consider that a sad thing. So we don't want that to happen. However, we haven't found that much more to do. We found some warrior type stuff, like there's a spear throwing arena, and there is the rope bridge to cross and build up strength and so on. But we're a wizard, and so there isn't much for us to do there yet.
Well, we played Mancala, Awari.
We did. We played Awari, and we won a game, which kind of shocked me.
Yes, because I couldn't remember the rules at all.
I just sort of vaguely, I remember the rules, but not really the strategy. But apparently what I did worked.
Well, it was Professor Plumintarna with the magic spear. Yes.
Okay,
Spear
wait,
and
let
magic
me
helmet.
check.
Oh, I gotta check.
I'm sorry, that is not correct.
Oh well.
Do you get eliminated for the Give Me Clue when you
You
make a wrong
should
guess?
if you make a wrong guess. I don't remember. It's been a long time.
So yeah, we just got our Comic-Con badges. So
Which are
they
advertising.
feature Dexter Resurrection, and they're pink.
Yes, very pink.
So Lori opened hers first and got a pink one. I said, "Oh, maybe mine will be blue because I'm a boy."
Yeah. In terms of 5 being a sandbox, I think almost everyone waits until they've done everything possible before starting the rights. Yes, that's what I would do when I was playing it. Yes, when you rather than get into the sequence, enjoy it. Yeah.
So for the last 20 plus years, we've been addicted to varying degrees to World of Warcraft, and it has main plot lines that are the campaign for each expansion, and then side quests. Well, the campaign only takes you a certain number of days to do, and you're playing for like 2 years in each expansion. So the side quests are essential, but we found ourselves pretty much treating the side quests as essential life and death matters that had to be done. And we're only now starting to get to the point where I can painfully see an exclamation mark on the map and not immediately run to it and do the quest.
Oh, yeah.
Especially after we've done each one
So,
5
yes,
times
we're
with
good
different
at doing
characters.
side quests and getting sidetracked. Yes.
Yes. Which is pretty good, pretty much the story of my life, so that's fine.
And Brombin says that Awari was an intro to Mancala. Yes. And Awari is a word for the game, but I don't remember where I pulled it from.
Yeah, it's Awari, Mancala. There's about 5 names for it that we've seen, and they're all basically the same game. There might be some slight variations of rules, but I had I don't remember if it was called Awari or Mancala, but I had a set of it when I was somewhere around teenager. Probably I got it and carried it with me the rest of my life. And
They're asking about volume. Is it okay for everybody, or is it just their television?
are we quiet?
Yes. So
Okay.
let us know.
I can turn up my volume.
It may not be. It may just be him. So
How about this now? Is that better for people?
Life is what happens when you're making other plans. Okay, well, we turned it up. Maybe
Turn
you
it up
need
a
to
little.
turn up the microphone or something.
I don't know if the mic.
This
It's
sounds
probably
fine.
controlled by that.
Okay, fine. All right.
That sounds fine. Okay, I'll make it one more little notch up, and then we always have to remember when we play the game to turn its volume down a little.
Right, because it's always overwhelming.
Okay, that's well within the green. We're still in the green zone, so we should be fine.
Awari starts with 3 stones per bit, and Mancala starts with 4 instead. That's interesting.
Yeah, that would change some strategy.
And that did help. Good. I'm glad.
Good. All right, sorry to start out so quiet.
Yep.
Should we restart the stream? Yep, we can start all over.
Hi there. It's Corey and Lori show. Yes.
That's Lori Ann Cole, famous game designer of Quest for Glory / Heroes Quest and Mixed Up Fairy Tales, Hero U Road to Redemption, and Summer Days Tilly's Tale. Did you do any other games?
Maybe. Shannara.
Shannara. Yeah, that's an important one.
Yeah.
Shannara, which is Shannara, based on the sword of Shannara, but Terry Brooks used to call it Shannara until everybody told him, no, it's Shannara. He said, well, it's my book. And
so it was Shannara while we were doing it.
Yep.
And finally, I guess he conceded.
When they did the TV series on it, they convinced
he couldn't, yeah.
He couldn't hold out on that any longer. So many games. I've done all those, but I've always been the secondary. So I've done more of the programming and technical design side and some of the writing, but Lori has done the bulk of the dialogue and most of the writing in every game.
As opposed to Castle of Dr. Brain.
Yeah, Castle Dr. Brain was my bailiwick. I proposed it. I did the prototype for it, working with artist John Bach at still Sierra Online then. It wasn't yet Yosemite Entertainment. And when we started the project, the management decided they wanted a different artist on it, so they signed Andy Hoyos as the lead, which was amazing.
And this is Andy Hoyos as the lead for Quest for Glory 3.
Which we will soon be playing.
Yes.
Very talented, amazing artist, and just a clever guy. Left and right brain together.
Yes, Andy Hoyos is never a bad choice. He was the choice for a long time. If you had him on your project, it meant you were getting the A treatment. So we had him for this game, and I guess he really was in charge of the education games too, because I know his vision. He didn't do much on.
He did Fairy Tales. He did
Fairy Tales.
He was the lead of it. Remember, he assigned.
He assigned people and let them go.
I thought you complained that he had.
No, it was 3 that he was mini-maxing, that he was hands-on with everything. Just a little bit too much.
Andy Hoyos is the voice of Mordak? I didn't know that. He had a good voice. The educational games, Ken Roberta, Ken had decided that he wanted to get into educational games in a big way.
We don't need to go into that
I
history.
do. I do. Even though that's not what we're doing today.
I know.
But he had a big meeting with all the game designers, and between all the game design staff at Sierra, I think we turned in probably 50 game proposals.
We certainly had 20.
We had 10, I think. I think we did 10 between us. 10 or 20. They picked out 3, which happened to be 2 of ours. Mixed Up Fairy Tales and Castle Dr. Brain, and then EcoQuest was the 3rd one.
But of course, that's because they picked the suck up.
Yeah, we sucked up to them. Well, okay, we promoted them properly.
Yes.
We did the right marketing for them. Anyway, I was just going to say as far as me being the game designer, of Castle Dr. Brain is I got a few puzzles done, and then Lori was off on a trip. And while she was on the trip, I got totally lost. I didn't know what to do, called her up in a panic, and she said, work through it. Tough it out, kid.
Yes.
But when she came back, she helped me through with the robot maze, the one where you fall in pits and stuff like that. And that was essential to getting me unblocked. So anytime you have a writer's block, it's really good to have one or two partners that you can bounce things off of, even if they're not actively doing stuff. So
a little memory about Castle of Dr. Brain. I remember when I was a kid, the idea was to buy a computer to do schoolwork and study more than playing games. So my dad went looking and got Castle of Dr. Brain as a way to solve my mom's request to study with it, but also have fun. Great, that is exactly
that was
what
what
we
it
were
was
trying
for,
to
and
do.
I hope it worked.
We really wanted to, and we weren't trying to be a teaching game so much as a thinking game with that. That was mostly our ideas with a lot of our games.
And then Sierra Marketing got me really mad because they put the tagline on the box that said, an adventure game to strain your brain. And I said, but it's not an adventure game. It's a puzzle game.
Yeah.
And eventually we became okay with the fact that, A, it's kind of an adventure game because you're walking through a
Mostly
world.
we were okay because it sold, and
Yeah, mostly it was okay
people
because it
bought
worked.
it. And there's a difference. I bet if it said puzzle game, it would have had a different audience.
It probably would have had half the sales
Yeah.
because Sierra game players bought every adventure game that Sierra put out, and by calling it an adventure game, that meant that everybody bought it.
Sierra only made 5 quote-unquote games that were educational. And they were all adventure-style games rather than the real teachy, Mavis teaches typing type of games.
What's the word? Curriculum. They were not curriculum-based.
Yes. So, therefore, they were not the biggest educational games out there.
So we worked with Davidson and Broderbund or at least talked with them various times. And both of them, especially Davidson, focused very heavily on curriculum-based games. They worked with teachers and educational consultants and said, okay, we're doing third grade math, or whatever they called math in third grade, arithmetic, I don't know, I guess they call it math. And therefore, here are the things we need players to learn. Or we're teaching geometry. Sierra later came out with a game called Geometry Wars, which I think is more of a game than...
Was that from Dynamics, really?
Probably.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's listed as Sierra, but we never had anything to do with it. But they would focus on a particular curriculum that might have been taught before the game was there.
Where's my AAA Carmen San Diego? I don't know.
They've talked about it. I've certainly read things about that coming back. Wasn't there a remake a few years ago? I thought there was. Oh, I'm all hoarse. It's terrible.
I think there was a cartoon show or something like that. But yeah.
There was
yes,
definitely
there
a cartoon
needs to
show.
be.
There is a new Carmen out just now. Yay.
Ah, okay. Therefore,
Oregon Trail.
Yes, they made a remake of Oregon Trail. I saw that. I don't know whether it got out or not.
Anyway, so all of our games tend to be listed as Lori and Corey Cole, or Corey and Lori Cole designers. I think I usually get first billing. On most of them, Lori did 80 to 90% of the writing. Well, 90% of the writing and 80% of the design. And Dr. Brain, sounds like it was all mine, but it was still 80% mine and 20% Lori's. So we collaborate. It's been a good collaboration. We've only a few times threatened to murder each other. Usually get over it within a few days.
So there is a play method that is basically almost one for one the classic style Cole, even though it's a mobile game. Interesting. Also, way to connect with Island of Dr. Brain. Talking about Quest for Glory, Island also continued the story of reaching Dr. Brain.
Yeah, so when we got to designing the end part of Castle Dr. Brain, we had the credits roll, and we had decided, okay, let's advertise the sequel. So I advertised, find me. I've got to leave now, but you can find me on the Island of Dr. Brain. And that then got into some disagreements with Sierra, who basically didn't want to pay me for it. And Bob Heitman, my boss, always was against any employees getting royalties and side stuff, because he said they're getting paid for their job already, just not very much. So the upshot was I didn't end up designing anything in Island of Dr. Brain.
Yeah.
It was passed on to the writers.
And maybe some year we'll actually play it here, but at the rate we're going, we will probably be another 2 years just trying to get through Quest for Glory.
I was actually, thinking we could get to like Mixed Up Fairy Tales after this, before we go on to Quest for Glory 4, because it probably won't be October.
Yes, it will be. But the rate we're going,
especially if I talk too much.
Right? Yes.
But anyway, so we've pretty much worked on all of our games. So the ones that I have exclusive credit for is Castle of Dr. Brain. The one that Lori has exclusive credit for is Mixed Up Fairy Tales, but I was the programming manager for that, and my team built it.
Yep.
So we've all worked on all of them. Mixed Up Fairy Tales is probably the closest we have to being almost 100% Lori.
Well, this one is really.
I'm sorry, did I say Mixed Up? Tilly's Tale. Summer Days Tilly's Tale.
This one also, right? Wages of War was almost entirely mine.
That's true. Yeah, we worked together on the initial design for this, and then Sierra signed me off to another project, and Lori did pretty much everything, and I came in back in the last.
Yeah, I think you were actually pulled off before we actually got the go for this, because it was Quest for Glory 1 remake that was happening.
You're right.
And then Quest for Glory 3.
But we had talked about it.
We talked about it, i.e., this is a great idea, and that was where we went with it.
So Lori did pretty much all of Quest for Glory 3. Yeah, let's get around to playing.
So that's why it's got, a lot of story and maybe not as many puzzles as some of the other ones, and got really mixed reviews. So, which may or may not have anything to do with anything.
So finally, towards the end of the project, I was brought in mostly to do proofreading and playtesting, and that was really cool for me because that's the only Quest for Glory that I really didn't know everything that was going on before I played it.
That's a cool screen for Steam. Let's share that.
Lori says I should share my desktop.
Because look at that summer sale,
and that
which
is
we're not
totally relevant. Steam summer sale now through July 10th, and that's a cool thing. They got
it is really fun. I wonder
bunch
what
of
game
worshipers.
that's supposed to be.
I don't know. It reminds me of Populous, which was.
I'm one of the weirdos whose favorite is 3. Oh, thank you.
Quest for Glory 3 is a good game.
All right.
And especially with storytelling. Let's look for.
Are we in that sale?
No, I'm not looking for Quest for Glory. I'm looking for Hero U. Rogue to Redemption. Yes, we're on that sale, and I saw right there that it was $14.99. The normal price is $30. It is half off. Tell your friends, buy a few extra copies. It doesn't actually say anywhere. Oh, here we go. Special promotion offer ends July 10th, 50% off.
Yeah.
So it'll be $15.
Wow.
If you don't own it, you're
for
probably
a lifetime of something to do.
Yeah, it's a big game. Summer Days Tilly's Tale is also on sale for half off.
Ah, yes.
There we go. Minus 50%. That's for $10.
I already egged everyone I could possibly. Yes, I know.
Okay, well, I know everyone here has played Hero U. I don't know that everyone here has played Summer Days.
But I'm sure you all own it, so I'm not really. This is preaching to the choir. And
so you're saying we shouldn't do these streams anymore?
No, we're not. We're not selling with these things.
What we are selling with the stream is our Patreon.
Oh well, and we aren't even selling our Patreon.
And that is not very well.
Yes.
Our Patreon last year brought in about $1,000 a month. At the beginning of the year it was $650. We're down to $550. It's gradually crumbling. And I post a lot of public stuff on there that doesn't require you to pay or be a member. But I also occasionally put up special stuff just for members. So if I went to our library, and I announce all these streams here, so if you're not on the streams. Okay, Christmas in Guadalajara, paid only.
Gee, so that you could actually see pictures.
So you can see Lori's photoshopped photographs of Guadalajara, and by photoshopped we mean that she uses it to, take out power lines going across it and clean up the backgrounds and stuff like that. So they're definitely true to what we saw. So this is her article on our trip to Guadalajara.
That's my favorite picture.
This one here?
No, the one up.
Oh, this one here, yes.
This one, that's hilarious.
You have to look at this closely. This was at the
Mission Aquarium.
Yeah, it was at the aquarium, and in that aquarium there was a area that was full of crocodiles and a couple of big tortoises and turtles.
They're true turtles.
A couple of giant turtles, and that turtle, not sure if you can tell from here, but it actually has that entire pile up of alligators lying on top of the turtle.
Or at least beside him.
This one looks like it's beside him.
I know. I don't know. That one might have his arm on his shell.
Yeah,
that's
true.
It's a brave turtle. Yes.
It's showing that we're best buds, and I've got my arm on you.
Togetherness.
And if you ever get out of that shell, tasty.
Yeah, really. Turtle soup.
So that was pretty funny. So this was the Michin, Michin aquarium, and some great stuff there. And these are just some street art murals that were around the shopping area, which I forgot the name of. Tlake Pake.
Yeah.
Tlake Pake. Anyways, that was a shopping area. It had a lot of antique stores, lots of cool stuff. So Lori is regularly doing art things, and her two major art things right now are making ceramics. I actually meant to get a picture of your pile up of rice bowls there.
Well.
Lori is currently on a quest to make the ultimate rice bowl.
Yes.
And it's kind of boring on the library.
Oh, well. You could always go to the other thing that we're advertising, which is our Discord, which everybody here should be a member of. If you aren't, you're missing out.
Let me do this. I can't see it. Or Wages of War Games. There we go. The same thing that we're talking about here. So anyway, she's done lots and lots of work with ceramics, but she also does a lot of photography. When we go on a trip, it is primarily so that she can join the trip. So if you're not visiting your Patreon, you're really missing out. If you're not a member of our Patreon, that's okay, but you're costing us some income.
You're costing us some income. That's sucky.
Well, it is. I mean, it is helping us support the stream.
And
it's giving us a reason to say this stream is a good thing to do.
All right. I got a couple of
tables here are a
to
couple
give the example of
let's go back to the camera webcam.
Have to show a camera.
Okay, here's the side of this one. Oh, that's interesting. It looks darker in real life.
Yeah,
and the inside.
Nice and light. Well,
it's got kind of browns around the edges and blues and whites.
And another one of similar type colors and shapes.
And this is slightly darker, a little more gold, a little more brown in it. And the inside is similar. So she has been working on this for months, trying to get the perfect rice bowls. And when she gets the perfect rice bowl, then she intends to make sets of them with the same glaze patterns.
Yeah,
and
have a whole set.
One set to her son and one for us.
Yeah.
But she's got about 50 bowls over there.
Yeah, well.
They're never quite perfect.
No, I haven't got the right combination yet.
But she's getting really good at making very regular and round. And this is not turned in a wheel. This is all handcrafted.
Tediously handcrafted.
Tediously handcrafted. Oh, this one's got a little bump. You can't even notice it. So it's... these are, professional level pottery she's doing.
All right. CT says, how have you been? Been binging the British crime drama all day. Well, there's some really exciting ones out there, especially on channels that we can't get. So
I am happy to report that nobody has murdered us so far today.
Yeah, not yet. Yes, but yes, if we're going to, do we have plans? Did you guys ever have plans for Quest for Glory 6?
Sort of.
More or less.
We talked about a number of things with Craig Alexander, who is the general manager of Yosemite Entertainment, sequel to Sierra Online in Oakhurst. And one of the possibilities was Quest for Glory 6. and I now push that in stack because it's something entirely different. The other thing we talked about was doing a series of expansion modules to Quest for Glory 5, which would have had pirates and sirens and Amazon princesses. And
It was going to reuse a lot of the art, more to the point.
but it all would have been set in various places in the Mediterranean Sea, which we called the Med Sea. Calling it the Med Sea goes back before Quest for Glory to our D&D game, tabletop D&D games. We came up with the whole idea, the Caribbean islands instead of the Caribbean,
Yes,
the Med Sea and so on. There, yeah, everything was Albion was an old name for England, so we called it albumin. Just a lot of food puns. But yeah, we were talking about doing some expansion. So Quest for Glory 6 through 8, if we had made them, would have been set in Asia. They would be our, and we came up with names like Inja, INJA for India, but names don't matter so much. But we're going to do a game in India, a game in China, a game in Japan, and maybe Thailand, something like that. So
we would definitely go different places with it, but we would also have gone a different approach, i.e., that you were playing
the children, the offspring
the
of
potential child of your hero.
Of the hero and whoever you married in Quest for Glory 5.
Right, so that would determine your character class. And so it would be a little different from the Quest for Glory things. It would be a single character class character, but it was your choice. And once you picked that, well, maybe you chose to be a rogue, and your child would be a rogue, so then you would play it as, that character.
And yet another possibility was to do the Quest for Glory 5 MMO. Quest for Glory 5 almost started out as an MMO, or at least as a multiplayer game, and the initial prototypes were all about doing the network communications and allowing a few players to come into a shard to play together in it.
Yeah, it would be up to, I think we were thinking 4 players at a time in a certain shard, because that's what we could handle.
And that prototype worked, but didn't do much other than being able to walk around and see other players walk around and type something to them.
The child would rebel and demand to go to Paladin Summers Camp. There's always that possibility. I don't think we would have gone there, but that would have been the right way to do it. I mean, face it, if you were a kid that was the son or daughter of Nawar and the king of the thieves of Silmaria, which is what you would be.
If you were a thief, yes, indeed.
Yes, you would be the
somewhat roguish.
You would be a lot roguish, yes.
And,
so you would definitely be.
And rebelling and turning into a paladin sounds like a great idea. We have a few of those in Hero U Rogue to Redemption that are the children of characters in Quest for Glory. And the one is someone who actually was not from that background, but who father was a paladin and assumed that she would become a paladin, and kind of didn't want to do that and ended up in the rogue class. So that's part of the story.
That's not the story of her, but that's okay.
It's close enough.
No.
My interpretation of it.
Well, yes.
It's my headcanon.
Your headcanon that she was supposed to be a paladin?
Yeah.
Well, no, she wanted to be a paladin, but she had to run away from home to go to the school, and that's the key. Changed her name and disguised herself.
And because she did all that, clearly was dishonest and didn't belong in the paladin class.
Not so much dishonest, but she was truly roguish. Yes. I recall there was a saved game at the end of 5. That extra info of who you married and who you saved, exactly what we were trying to, whether or not it actually recorded that data is another thing altogether, but that's what we were doing.
I don't know. I don't think I have the source code for that anymore.
No.
Technically all the source code we did for Sierra belongs to Sierra, and we were not permitted to keep copies of it, but in practice, while we're working on them, we kept copies at home because we never knew if the servers at Sierra would go down and lose all our data.
Mostly it was not because Sierra thought that the RPGs in the Sierra network, Eusebius and Fates of Twinian and Cotter, were that successful. In fact, they didn't even look at that. It was what we wanted to do, where we wanted to go with the series, and yes, I really preferred going the RPG style. That's just my gameplay. Yes.
So that was the plan, and then as we started getting into it, Lori insisted that there really needed to be single player mode as well. And then when we started seeing all the problems with the multiplayer, eventually the single player game became it.
Yeah.
And originally it was intended as a single player game.
No.
Before Sierra fired us and killed the project.
Yes, when it was going to be King's Crown, it was designed to be just the follow-up to all of these.
And tie up all the loose ends of
and
the
just be
Quest for
more of an
series.
adventure game at that point, because we didn't have the technology to go 3D like we did. And suddenly now, when we actually did it, the whole world was turned over and everything else.
So when you make things matters, we had talked about doing a computer role-playing game back in the 70s, I think, certainly the early 80s.
It was 80s, yeah.
And we had all sorts. I had all kinds of notes on what we were going to do and so on. Some of which was very naive, and some was actually more advanced than we ended up doing. But back then, we would have had the technology of doing, say, wizardry. Even Dungeon Master came in later. Dungeon Master was pretty advanced, and the idea of doing something like Heroes Quest really couldn't have been done in 1980.
Yeah,
so by
we
the time
didn't have the memory, so
but we would have been on AGI was the predecessor to SCI. It would have been 4 colors. 160 by 100 screen, I think. Really primitive.
Yeah. So we were just lucky. Everything comes down to, pluck and luck.
Yeah. So we got there at the right time and place, and actually it was also the right time on the other side, which is that games were still modest enough at that point that they could trust untested designers to do them.
What's your longest running pen and paper role-playing campaign?
Well, we're still off and on playing in Richard Aronson's birth campaign that he started in about 75?
Somewhere in the late
70s. Somewhere in the late 70s.
Early 80s. He has been...
No, it was before the early 80s. Somewhere in the late 70s on up to... he's still running it off and on today.
Yes, and we're playing different iterations of it.
Yeah, so his world, it's the same basic world, but the storyline behind the world and the backstory change with each campaign.
Yep. So that's the longest running.
And what the players do changed a lot, too.
Basically, we gave up actually having a ongoing campaign type of thing before Road to Redemption.
Oh, for us, yeah.
Yes, for us, when we were actually running.
Everything we really only ran for a few months, I think. Or maybe a couple years with the stuff we were running.
We were running for years, but Jim was alive, and when Jim died, after our roommate died, who was the
Well, yeah, but we stopped a long time before that. We really stopped before we got to Sierra. Mostly.
Yes, it stopped before we got to Sierra, definitely.
But
we still had Aardvark cons, and
we had
we would play 4 times a year or 5
and we would run a standalone game, but we didn't really run as a campaign.
Yeah, we didn't campaign it.
So for the campaign, we designed our own gaming system, which we called
Fantasy Guild.
Fantasy Guild, yes, Fantasy Guild, and the idea was that we would have guilds for every type of knowledge. Like if you wanted to become a frost mage. Frost wizard, then you would join the Frost Guild and you would learn exclusively Frost type skills. And if you wanted to also have, say, energy magic, then you would have to join the Energy Guild, and there would be a huge initiation cost in terms of experience points to get into the second guild. But once you were in it, then you could learn spells there just as easily. And so the idea was that we had all these specialized guilds, and we did some details on it, but we didn't really flesh it out.
We didn't go very far with that one, yes. You
Spell
prefer
lists
being
and
the
stuff like
player or the storyteller GM?
Mostly the player. It depends when.
It depends on the GM.
Yeah.
I will be a GM, you know, if the players are, if there is no other good GM there, and I was a GM fairly often.
So I went to a gaming convention. I think it was Pacificon in San Mateo, California, one year, and there was a D&D game there that I played in. I know the player's name, but I won't mention it to preserve the guilty. But we got into a situation where he thought he had us dead to rights because he had we were in a field, and all of a sudden druids had cast entangle spells, and all the plants and vines were seizing us and pulling us under and strangling people. And you know, the range was too far for most of the players to attack, especially, you know, the warriors had nothing they could do. But I had my little sling, so I used my sling to try to knock down one of the druids with some sling bullets, and I rolled a 1 on an attack roll. Well, without any fumble or crit system at all, rolling the 1, the DM immediately decided that I had fumbled my attempt to sling the bullet and had whirled the swing around and hit myself in the head with the sling bullet, dead. No saving throw, nothing. And so I was out of that game. And so that is the kind of DM that we would rather be DMing than playing under.
Yes, exactly.
Players can be trained. DMs are hard to train.
Right. You have to have, as relates to computer games, you have to have designer genes. You have to actually understand certain ground rules that underlie every game is that the player must have fun. And 2, the player is the star, not the GM. And there's a lot of game masters, dungeon masters that don't get that because they're there to tell their story and they want to be the hero. And they're the ones that, even though that it's all about the player, they're the ones that are doing everything. And those, you're along for the ride. And we've been through a couple of GMs that are just like that.
So Joseph the Austin got to have Robert Schwab as their GM once, and he was one of the writers of 5th edition. He's doing his own stuff now. So I started out playing live D&D as opposed to on the computer in Chicago, and I was playing with mostly players who were like 2nd generation away from Gygax and Arneson. So they had played under GMs who had been players under Gygax. And I went up to a gaming convention up in Montreal, and Gary Gygax was the guest of honor, and I got to play in his game there. So I played my character who had a magic item called the Armor of Etherealness that let you shift into the ethereal plane. And he had a killer scenario where we walked into a cave that had, you know, pointy stalactites and stalagmites in the entrance, and the cave was actually a giant rock monster. And we found ourselves in the stomach of this monster being digested by stomach acid, and everyone was panicking. We were taking like 8 or 10 hit points every round, and trying different things. And after a round of this, I said, okay, I will activate my Armor of Etherealness. And Gary said, okay, good, that works. You're able to pass right out of the monster, and you're no longer trapped with the other players. And thank you for playing. I don't have mind share to run separate groups, so you're done. So that was also a very short scenario for different reasons.
Hi, Lil, and thank you for that subscription. Yay!
And all the players of the group said, or a couple players of the group said, don't forget, Armor of Etherealness has charges. You need to mark a charge off of that. It's now no longer +4, it's now +3, and you can only do that 3 more times.
Oh, that's an interesting thing, Joseph.
Yes.
I still remember when Gygax died, my server on Neverwinter Nights changed the loading banner to a moment of silence for him.
Yeah, there were a number of tributes for him. Don't remember if there's anything in WoW, but yeah.
So the philosophy, the player is the star in Pacta computer games. Of course, that became the mantra that we do. The player must have fun is number one, but number two is the player is the star. He doesn't have to be the one that does everything, though, which is what we're,
and that came from our tabletop playing. That we observed that in certain D&D groups, you would have one or two players that dominated. They did all the talking. They seemed to make all the decisions for the group. The DM usually rewarded them disproportionately and so on. And we said, okay, we're going to make sure in our games, especially if we're running a campaign type game, that every session will be focused around one player.
That came actually out of a DunderCon. We went to a gaming convention called DunderCon, and we went to one of the lectures. It was by Larry DiTillio. Larry DiTillio was one of the writing group people that played Dungeons and Dragons, but he also was involved with Babylon 5.
Did he work on Ninja Turtles?
Yes, he worked with Christy Marks shortly too, but I think.
Yeah,
but
so
mostly it was with the guy who did Babylon 5.
Oh, Babylon 5, okay.
What's his face?
We know.
Yeah, well. And he gave a great lecture, and one of the things he said that as a GM, you really do want to have your players be a star, but you should arrange so that each time you're playing a session, a different player, actually's character becomes the most important person in that story for that day. And I thought...
J. Michael Straczynski?
So yes, J. Michael Straczynski, yes.
He was a great speaker. We saw him at multiple conventions.
And DiTillio's name is in not Mutant Turtles, but the real Ghostbusters. And he was involved with some of the writing behind some of the best stories, like Collect Call of Cthulhu, and some of the real parodies that went on. And the first two seasons of the real Ghostbusters is a brilliant bunch of pastiches, just really worth watching, and has some of our best favorite lines in any cartoon ever. But I will never forget that lecture by Larry telling us, how to really do a good job as a GM. And so that was the important thing to get out of it, is that to remember you're not there to entertain yourself. You're there to make the players feel like they really are the heroes.
I mean, be in charge, but also keep your ego in check.
Yeah.
And if the players aren't having fun, it's time to change something.
Yep.
So, Brother Two Drummer asks, were you bummed that you had to leave the scenario when you did because of your clever trick? Why did you have an armor of etherealness? Well, yes, obviously I was a little bummed at the time. But I also had to recognize that it was totally fair. My intent was that I was going to try and help the party from the outside, but that's too subtle to communicate in a game with 10 players. And that's the same problem with computer games, and why we don't like the ones that give you, just a general part of a line that you can say to someone, is because the line never ends with the intent of what we would have said.
Okay.
They're never right. So, in this case, I should have trusted that the Dungeon Master was not out there to kill everyone. And
that's not clear.
Not clear. It wasn't clear. Number two is I should have been a party member and worked with the party to save everyone, not to save myself. So, there were some lessons there. And it was a shame, but, it was reasonable. In hindsight. No, I didn't like it at the time.
How do you keep the game progressing and linear and essentially control the player's actions without making it feel like the player isn't in control?
I don't know. Do we manage that?
That is just every bit of the problem with doing a good game design, is to try to figure out how to let that player who has no, we have to have everything figured out ahead of time of what we can do, and you have to keep stopping the player from doing what you can't show and you can't do. We just try.
They've had cases in which professional writers come into the adventure game industry and they immediately need to be retrained, because what they will do is they will sit down and write out a story, and then figure out where to put and put the player in the story, and that doesn't give the player any agency. So what you end up doing, video game writing is completely unlike traditional writing, that instead of writing chapters, you're basically writing paragraphs. And your paragraphs...
You're writing nodes is the way I look at
Yes.
it. You're designing a tree, but that tree has to keep pruned so that your branches keep coming back to the central corridor.
So they can branch off for a while, but you can have a little branchy section, but each branch has to kind of dead end and then return to thing. But it's really quite an art. But
wasn't Gygax out to kill everyone? He sure had a reputation
Maybe.
for that. His games, his scenarios were very, very much.
yeah, I had his game, The Tomb of Horrors,
Yes.
and that was, just as the title suggests,
It is one of those, a great scenario for looking at and seeing how not to be a GM. Because I learned from reading his scenarios and his
very
things
sad.
that how not to be a good GM. And while the whole thing of that he created this thing and gave us a sense of wonder and magic, he still was a very controlling person who really liked to show who he was in his games.
Well, and also he designed that explicitly for players that were too full of themselves and too proud of their accomplishments. So it was designed to humble very high-level players with very high-level characters that were not creative enough to get around what he did. The Gygax scenario I had that I really enjoyed was The Lost Caverns of Tsokanth. Later renamed to Tsokanth. It was one letter change. But he ran that at a convention. I got a baggie with a copy of it, and then I made my own burnt scroll sections and stuff like that. And I really like that one. I think that one was pretty well balanced. That was the first time I found out that Sturges were actually Stridges, and that they were a typo in the D&D manual. There are Stridges in Greek mythology. So anyway, so you've got these nodes with very short snippets of writing, because nobody wants to read a page at a time. So you need to keep the writing short, and you need to be prepared for the player to go off in multiple different directions, but somehow eventually return to the main storyline.
For Road to Redemption, to get the backstories of the castle and the world, we actually have a book in the library that you can sit there and read. You can only read a few pages every day, but when you get through, you get a good backstory of the thing, if you want to read. But the whole point is to make it optional to the player, so the player feels like, I don't want to bother, I don't care, I just want to play this game. So it's allowing the player to make the choices and not letting the game be walls and walls of text.
One of the challenges to Road to Redemption is that all the character stories, many of them, are optional, and they're off to the side. So, for instance, there's an entire storyline that starts out by you have to go up to a certain place at a certain time of day, and there's a few days you can do it in, but it's a relatively narrow window, and listen at a door. And if you don't do that, you will never get that part of the storyline. And that's one of the important character sub-stories. So in another sense, it's fine, because the game is designed so you don't have to do everything. And you can come back and replay the game and maybe discover new things that are like Easter eggs, because you just haven't seen them.
Yeah, that's why we make our games so rich, is so you feel like you want to come back and see what you missed and do that. Yes. One good analogy is Myst. The original game was made in the Apple HyperCard. Every view is a card, and they all have to link together in some way. Interesting.
But there's lots of replayability. So, yeah, Myst, you're basically going around an environment, exploring different scenes. Every once in a while you come across an interactable object, and then you have to figure out how those things tie into other scenes. It's very non-obvious, and you either spend a whole lot of time exploring or get a hint book. We got to about room 3 of Myst before it crashed on my 8086 computer. Wasn't powerful enough to run it.
The Colonel's Bequest is rather like that. There's an awful lot of optional content that you can miss.
Yeah, it's designed to have multiple. In fact, you must miss stuff. It is designed to have multiple things going on simultaneously, and where you go and when determines what story you get. And again, it's designed to be replayable. Replayable is fun, but players have a great deal of FOMO, fear of missing out. So
Yeah,
they don't always like that they can't get everything.
Yes, and the fact is that the right way to do a Colonel's Bequest like that is that you have a different ending depending upon what the player actually saw. Is that, okay, you were in this room and you got to overhear this conversation, therefore in the end game that conversation affected the end game. And I don't think that's exactly what that was going for. But that would be how I designed the game. And as I said, of all the games at Sierra that were done by somebody else, the only one I really wanted to do was Allura Bow. And that's how I would do it, is let you, eavesdrop on all sorts of things, but the minute you saw one, that locks in what that end game will be. And so you'd have multiple end games.
CT says not just FOMO, people are afraid of playing it wrong.
Yes.
And when I first introduced Lori to personal computers, she was terrified.
Yeah. I did not want to make a mistake.
Yeah.
That is what a good game teaches you, is you can't make a mistake.
So
you can always go back.
And it is quite true that you could end up typing in SURM star, etc., and deleting everything that is. But most players are not going to accidentally type that.
Perfectionism, completism is indeed a personal hell. Must get all the points. And that's fine. I mean, that's why we have points. But that means that you'll have to play the game again to figure out where those missing points are. So Corey was the star of that one with Adventure Game, the Cursed Cave. Colossal Cave game being just that, having to get that final point. So yes, it's a thing, and it is something you have to account for, yes.
Yay, new personal best for the 500-point speedrun, and gift you one EGA as a fighter earlier today. Excellent.
Oh, you have to get 500 points? Is that the whole point of it? Did you actually?
And it's a category. So in speedrunning, one of the categories is just get through the game.
Yeah,
Another one is get through the game doing everything, get the maximum number of points.
I'm impressed. Yes, 500 points in a speed game. Yeah.
I didn't remember it had that many. I
Yes,
remember Colossal Cave had 350 and the original version only had 250.
We capped it at 500. We did it so that there was like 580 points.
No, it's like 520 points.
Right.
So if you miss something, you still make max.
Yeah. Cool.
We don't care how many points people get in any of the playthroughs of their games. We care that they're having fun while they're doing it.
Yeah. The Indiana Jones Adventure games were pretty good about that. Having an episode score for your current playthrough, but a series score for all possible points, and being cumulative across all playthroughs. That's cool. We really do believe in the concept of a scoreboard of personal bests and things like that. So that's
those are really fun. So the points, as David TTKI says, are the points pointless? And the answer is, well, yes. Points are meaningful in comparison to something else. I have master points from having played bridge for 50 years, something like that. Not all the time, but most of that. And they keep accumulating. I keep getting more and more master points. And that does mean, the fact that I have, like 2,400 master points does not mean that I am 100 times better than when I had 24 master points. I'm probably 5 times better. But it just means I played for a long time. And chess is scored differently. Chess has points that go up and down as you win and lose matches. That's maybe a more realistic measure of current skill. But points in a game, when you have a leaderboard, you're playing Asteroids at the arcade, and you can see the top scores on it, and you maybe make it up to 4th position on the top score list, and say, ooh, if I play some more, maybe I can get up to top position. So yeah, that makes. But from an individual standpoint, it's kind of cool to have sort of measure of, oh yeah, I did something there, and especially if you see the point total change, you'll say, oh, I guess that thing that I thought was just incidental thing was actually important to the game.
Yes, so it was another way of communicating with the player that they're going the right direction, that they're doing the right things. So it's both a carrot, i.e., dangling the carrot in front of you, saying you got to get to that point, and it's
A stick?
well, it is
No.
a stick, because if you're a completionist,
You gotta have
you
them.
have to have it. Yes, it hits you in the back side. Yes. Well, in Quest for Glory, it also lets you that you've missed content. We tried to make it, not just numbers. It's not just a roll the points game. Yes. The unique human skill is making meaning. We're free to give meaning to those points and value them exactly. They represent all the effort you have gone through to try to get those points. Yes, to get that game done. What are you doing?
I'm trying to see if I can get this
Invite
thing
people to Discord.
So our Discord, this will probably not work because it never does. Oh, nope, it's Patreon. What the heck?
Yeah.
All right, copy. I have copied what is supposed to be an invite link. It will probably instead say hit and use copy button. No, it's a real one. They have finally fixed Discord after months.
If you are not in our Discord,
You
click
have
that link.
You have 7 days to use that code.
And you should use that code. So you could go to our Discord.
Right up.
You may not and go to talk with people and have fun and get great puns and everything else.
Lori doesn't make it on very often. I'm not on as often as I have been, but I try to get there, at least a couple times a week. And we have a few other members that police it for me a little bit.
Yes.
It's not heavily overdone policed, but we have the Politics Plus channel that you probably should stay away from, unless you love Flame Wars.
Flame Wars.
But there's the most important.
You can bring it full
Most
screen. Bring
important.
it full screen then.
No, you can't. It doesn't work.
You can't bring that full
Doesn't
screen?
work.
Oh, well.
Most important of all is the Penitentiary channel.
You've done it to our faces rather than to the desktop.
What? No, I did it to the desktop. I went to the desktop. The desktop does not show Discord. Discord
Okay.
hides itself.
Okay.
Yeah,
Well, but
it's a
you've shown
secret.
it before.
Yep.
You show it then.
All right, here's the latest. Copy. How do I do it? Copy message link? No. Maybe if I click on it?
You've shown that screen, so I'm wondering.
I don't know how. It's the Discord breaks things once in a while. Anyway, just go to the hashtag Penitentiary channel. And of course there would be a pun channel on Discord by the Coles.
Yeah.
And I came up with the name Penitentiary. I'm very proud of that.
Yes.
It's where we imprison our puns so that they don't sneak out into all the other channels. Back to the webcam. So you should go to the Discord. You should go to the Patreon. You should follow us. You should join. You should participate.
Yes.
And
We
there are
really
channels,
appreciate all you
channels
do,
for
yeah.
each of the Quest for Glory games, channel for other games, channel for Rogue Redemption, and Wizard's Way, channel
Alright,
for Tilly's
let's
Tale,
go.
etc.
Let's go to the game.
So,
actually.
time for a game.
Sorry, but it takes so long, but
Yeah,
all
well,
part of
we
the
got
game.
a new set of topics.
Yeah.
And we do. Okay, this one works. There's Steam.
Mm-hmm.
And it's the Steam store advertising Tilly's Tale. But I could go to my library. Meridian 157, Chapter 1. I haven't actually played that. Quest for Infamy is an excellent Quest for Glory fan game.
All of those games, Old Skies, Crimson Diamond, and
Stanley
Westward.
Parable, people love. I found it kind of boring, but oh well. Indie games, Unavowed by Wajidai.
Yeah, we
Excellent game.
really recommend playing indie games. Yes. For those who
but
love
we
to
were trying to-
argue, Join and state how much you love AI. Oh,
Oh yes, there's a channel for that.
Yes.
And we got at least one person very offended that everybody was dogpiling on them and putting them down for their views on AI. And that should not happen.
No, we try not to.
But there are good reasons not to love AI. And AI is a hype out in the real world. It doesn't have to be a hype in our servers.
Old Skies is interesting. It really is.
It is. We played through one of the scenarios on it on this stream. Heroine's Quest, we did a little bit a couple years ago and probably should get back into.
Yep.
We didn't get very far, but I was trying to get to the Quest for Glory collection.
Yes, we were.
And 3, Wages of War. And then it will be loud for a while. Play game. Import. No. Wrong. Store game. Met the Libon.
I actually have like 150 hours in Heroine's Quest.
Wow.
I liked it enough to replay it multiple times. Cool.
Okay, I've turned down the volume. You can tell me whether the game volume is too low or too high relative to our voices.
Still waiting to learn more about the successor, spiritual successor, Serpents of Seraph. That's interesting.
Now, for the players who say that it was an abomination to turn Quest for Glory 5 3D, these are our pixels in our supposedly high-resolution VGA, and there's a guard in front of that hut, but you sure couldn't tell from it. Looks like a cigar store dummy. And our character is awfully pixelated because the camera's too far back, the trees, everything. It works nicely now. On our right side screen where we have Streamlabs running, we can see our version of it, and it looks great because they have taken all those pixels and put them into a quarter of the size.
What's our character stats? We should see our character.
Character stats.
Good point.
Our character is named Triss, short for Trismegistus. We have a high intelligence. We have a high magic skill. Reasonable other things. Paladin points. What's a paladin point? We have 0, of course, because, you know, a horse is a horse, of course, and a paladin is a paladin, and we ain't. A little bit of weapon use, a little bit of dodge, no parry, no stealth, no picklocks, no throwing, no climbing.
You're paladin pointless.
We're paladin
really.
pointless, that's right, just as the points are pointless.
Exactly.
Our communication skill has been going up by talking to people.
Our
And
paladin didn't.
our honor point has been going up by doing good deeds.
I only disliked it because I was expecting Shadows of Darkness. Yeah,
Well, we were too, but
we were.
we were talked out of it, and it was a good decision to do this game.
Yes, you. That's what made Shadows of Darkness even better, honestly. It would have been a lot worse if we had made it when this one came
And if
out.
we had made this Shadows of Darkness instead of this one, and had done Hero's Crown or Dragonfire when we did Quest for Glory 4, then right about that point, Sierra basically disbanded and fired everyone and moved up to Bellevue. There would have been no fan outcry for a sequel because we would have completed the series and we never would have done another game for Sierra. So it was very important that we insert this game to give us one more game for Sierra.
I think Shadows of Darkness deserved the extra time to get the good voice acting and stuff. And you know we wouldn't have had the voice acting at this point in time. So, you know, it all works out for the best, even though it's a pain. That's an interesting butterfly effect it is. Habari buana.
Habari. Talk. There. Greet. You say hello to the elder. Missouri, buana. Across the wide world, wide Missouri. Ask about the savannah. The savannah is all around us, from the edge of the jungle to the edge of the mountains to the edge of the world. Here we Simbani make our home. Say goodbye. You tell the elder goodbye. Kwaheri, buana. Lori got some Swahili to English. Oh, how did I end up back in town?
Went the wrong direction. Yes.
It is not obvious what the directions are, and they should be.
No, there isn't. And
I'm just going to walk away rudely without talking to him because I already talked to him.
Yeah.
There, that one.
Yeah,
there you
this is not a well-designed.
go. Okay, here's that particular overlook. I do not like the way the directions work. Here's our dotted line. We've apparently made it that far out. We're trying to find a tree somewhere in here.
No, we don't know we're finding a tree. We're just hunting
We were
around.
sent to look for a tree.
We were sent to look for some magic woods. Oh no! Oh no!
How do you run?
Run, and turn up your speed, as they said.
Which is silly.
I know, but it worked.
Yeah, let's not quite show all the way up.
This dynamite. Big trouble.
Just think how far we'll go through
Dang.
this amount of doing this. You got away this time.
Oh, let's go down to normal
Normal, somewhat fast.
and then see where we wound up. Hero go brrrr. Hero.
Map. No. Control compass. Commands. I don't know how you get to the map. Do a magic map?
Do we not see the thing unless you walk out of the screen? Maybe you don't.
It is day 5.
Okay.
We haven't gotten very far.
We did not.
We are 2 pixels, one off-white pixel and one black pixel. As the off-white is
How
probably the
good
flesh
should
color.
wizards be at combat? They don't get points for doing it. They should be at least. They should not be able to fight that thing. What are we doing?
Running away
Of what?
from whatever was chasing
We
you.
didn't even see what it was. We do have to fight some things eventually, Corey.
Well, there's a big tree.
There is a big tree.
Here's some tracks across the savannah that were undoubtedly made by crashing airplanes or very heavy monsters. We're in a forest.
We're in the jungle. That's a jungle.
Oh, we've made it to the jungle. We're no longer in the savannah. Now we have rooms and have... Nope. We made our way out of it.
No,
maybe
we're
there was
still-
something we were
it's
supposed to
getting
do there.
dark. Uh-oh.
There's a monster.
Ah!
That
Giant
looks-
beetle! Eek!
We could
And
squish
the
it.
lion is sleeping tonight, yeah.
We could just squish it.
Even not easily, Corey. You know what the carapace is like on a beetle?
What is this thing? Is this a room?
I don't know. Can't tell. We're going to be out here all night at this rate.
I mean, the first time we did a Quest for Glory in our stream, we basically ran away from anything. It looks just like that scene. So all these different scenes are made up. They are background paintings, and then they add on trees and things to add details, except I don't know in this game, they may be actual just paintings.
Yeah. I don't know how much was add-ons.
And we'll be back at the map, and there's that tree over there, which we still haven't made it to, but we're trying to. Oh,
We
look!
did it too.
But it's dark. Control D for time of day. That was the previous game. Maybe the hourglass. It is day 5 and it's getting dark.
Oh, it is dark.
We
The moon
don't
is
know if
rising.
this is a safe place to
We
sleep.
do not.
I wonder if we can make camp. Is there a command for that?
No.
There's a sleep command.
You
It's-
might want to save, honestly.
Oh, that's actually a really good idea. That now, when I'm actually writing these programs, I am saving constantly under multiple names.
Is this an Irana-related spot? It's a similar kind of spot. I think it is.
There is an Irana
yeah,
related
we'll
spot,
find
which is
that
the
later.
Pool of Peace, that will be to
We'll find it
eventually. This one is more modeled after Yggdrasil and the roots of the world, and there are similar African legends about a giant tree that is the root of everything, and the tree of life from the Kabbalah. So this is a magical, mystical, symbolic giant tree.
So yes, in response to The Lion Sleeps Tonight, it's because Rakesh needs his rest after seeing Prisha for a few days ago.
Quote, saying, unquote,
yes,
nudge, nudge,
yes.
wink, wink, say no more.
Yeah.
I shall say no more.
I asked after the life imitating art, or art imitating life, yeah.
So yes, the art here is, Lori gave direction to the artist, and she passed on a number of books of African,
Yeah.
not so much art. Did you do art styles too?
photography. We had
They were photography,
beautiful
but
photography.
did you also give them art books as sample styles? or did they have their own?
Not this one. Not this one. Mostly I gave them the one on the. I had a great coffee table book, which was photography of the. What's the Wilson Monty tries the.
The Maasai.
Maasai.
The Maasai warriors.
Yes, it was a beautiful book, and books about animals in Africa and that.
And actually, before the stream, okay, so real streamers, professionals, carefully plot out their streams in advance, and they have notes on what things they're going to talk about, and maybe even scripts for segments of it. We don't do that. We say we're going to have a stream, and this is the general idea of it.
A stream of
and
thought.
it's a stream of ours is a stream of consciousness.
Yes, exactly. So yeah.
But one thing I did think of before we did the stream is that I should talk about, and I instead got into why we were into Greek mythology, but African mythology was also fascinating to us. There were the Tarzan books and the Edgar Rice Burroughs
Yes,
books.
I grew up with Edgar Rice Burroughs and Tarzan. Those were my, reading books.
And we had learned about the Maasai warriors and about the Kalahari Bushmen. And these were all things that we thought were just absolutely fascinating, that Africa, is always the dark, mysterious continent that the English were really excited when they started having explorers go into deepest, darkest Africa.
And when I was in high school in a social studies class, I was in a normal social studies class, but I really belonged in the advanced AP one. So my teacher sent me to study in the library by myself. And I did. I read a book about real, the tribes in Africa that had animalism, that believed they could turn into beasts and animals. And honestly, it was that one sophomore year of high school that influenced an entire half of this storyline. So you never know where ideas come from. As you say, life imitating art, or art imitating life. Games are a synthesis of everything that happens in your life.
Getting some noises in the background. That's interesting.
Might be the game crashing. So
I don't know. You think I should get back into it?
Yeah, see if it stops and hit the
Okay, I think I hit save, so.
No? That's interesting. It's getting a rhythm.
We have another player that's playing through here. Anything else, Ronnie?
Is something crashing our system? Yeah, it really is a dancey thing. It sounds like it could be African drums dancing.
I wonder if I have something else running in the background. I don't see anything obvious.
No.
Okay, well, this will soon override anything we say and you won't be able to hear us. But I was going to say, when I was in 7th and 8th grades, I had an amazing world civilizations teacher. It was a 2-year class.
Please overriding. Let's see what we can do. Go to
I could quit and restart.
Yeah. See if it is in the game.
Quit. Yes. It was in the game. So the game maybe became unstable because we sat on that screen so long.
Uh-huh. Yes, that's something that happens once in a while, that you just have to go to a different screen. Never had that before. Yeah. Interesting.
Nor had we.
We had not seen it.
Very interesting. But definitely the game destabilizing. So it's good
But it was a great rhythm.
It was. So anyway, 7th and 8th grades, I had this World Civilizations class, and the instructor had each student take on a particular one of the cultures that we were exploring, and then make a meal for the entire class that we had out on the lawn outside the school, and really got into depth in each one.
That's great.
So I had to write a paper, and the one I chose to do was the Ivory Coast. And is that Ghana? I think. Anyway, so I wrote this paper on the Ivory Coast of Africa, and really had an interest in that for years afterwards, because I remembered that was just absolutely fascinating. The upcoming game that Lori is working on now is Summer Days of Ifeo's Adventure, and Ifeo is from a culture that you'll talk more about.
Well, it's definitely a culture from Tarna, and is based off of the people of Nigeria, and Niger, and There's one
So
other
it's
country
more
on it.
central, North Central Africa,
Yeah, well, yeah. And
whereas
it
Tarna is
is
up in the northeast.
based on Yoruba people. Yoruba people.
And so she decided to take the Yoruba people and turn that into a country called Yoruba, which doesn't exist. Ruba.
Yeah,
Okay.
so that we're not taking the whole thing. So yes, and so that game is influenced by African culture again.
Nigeria is a huge country with big economy, a lot of tech, a lot of stuff going on. It's also famous for the Nigerian prince scams that people used to get an email all the time.
Yoruba was in that section that took part of Nigeria and part of Niger and another country, and they were a major kingdom at one time, but it's several countries now.
So most importantly, there have been a lot of adventure and role-playing games, and very few of them, almost none, at the point we did this, were set in Africa.
And it's a huge continent with all different cultures and experiences and that. And it's like, okay,
All sorts of things going on.
all these things, all these stories that could be told.
Let's put them into a
Why
game.
are we making them? We really need more people from Africa making them and then get those games to America.
Yeah,
so
there's
we
that
can
whole thing
experience
about
it. Yeah.
cultural appropriation
Yes.
of, if somebody wears an obi or, wears...
So I feel a little guilty trying to create characters from this, but I figure if I don't do it, nobody's doing it. Somebody should. So
we did a consulting project for an Israeli company that was doing a game based on Bob Marley and roots rock reggae, and
that was about as culturally
that was
inappropriate.
appropriation. Yeah. So none of those people had ever lived in any kind of poverty or any kind of setting remotely like Kingston, Jamaica. And when the artists started drawing the characters, they had 1800 style black people with huge swollen lips
Yeah,
and
they
so on.
had stereotypical
And
styles.
we were like,
that were
oh
just
my
the
God, it
best.
made us cringe, and we're not black. So they should have had black people consulting with them. They should have had people from Jamaica. I had a coworker from Jamaica when I worked at GIAC Computers, my internship before I took a year off college, and Eileen. And she was the most sophisticated, well-dressed person, probably only a couple of years older than me, but, 10 or 20 years older in maturity and experience. She at one point talked about I should get my hair put in a perm and get a fro. We didn't actually do that, but she did actually consult with me on buying a suit, dressing well and stuff like that.
Okay.
So the stereotype of these poor black people living down in Trenchtown, Jamaica, and so on, does not cover the whole of Jamaica.
No, any more than this. This is based. Quest for Glory 3 is based around the Simbani tribe, which is based off of the Maasai and the Zulu. And they are the nomadic tribes. This is basically their story. They do live in these, the kraals. I think they are, my vocabulary may not be up to date since that was, 30 years ago. But yes, they create those things to protect their cattle. They do herd their cattle. They do not have permanent residence. They have, they are.
They move their town, their village from time to time, but they take the cattle with them.
And they create those fences around there to keep the lions out. So yeah, it's a lot of the things, the culture, the language is all based off of Maasai, and the jungle group is based off of the
leopard men.
The leopard men were based off of that book I read in high school. I found another book that was talking about it. I don't know specifically what tribes they were based off of, but it is a whole different culture. The difference is the people that live in the jungle had very little interaction with the people that lived in the savannas, so their cultures were very widely varied.
I think that C.J. Cherry had some books based on cat-like, leopard-like people with magic that we might or might not have read.
What,
and
the Kazinti? You mean her version of the Kazinti?
well, there's the Kazinti, but I thought there was another series, but
She's got hers. That was Niven.
yeah,
Niven
Kazinti
did
was Niven.
Kazinti,
It was
but
Niven.
she had her cat people with her.
Yeah, and they were not, totally vicious like the Kazinti.
No.
They were civilized.
Yeah. But
Welcome, Sigam.
Yay! Welcome. Back after weather caused a power interruption and the game is gone. Whatever did I miss?
What happened is your weather event OSU caused the game to crash.
Yes.
The Sonora Saga, yes. So yes, CJ Cherry. I mean, it's everybody. Science fiction authors are mostly cat people and love their cats, and so they show up in stories. Heinlein wrote The Cat Who Walked Through Walls. He loved cats. So it was interesting. It was making a magical leopard people. It has precedence, but yet they're our own.
Yeah.
We of course have the Cata people who are a completely different culture.
Yeah, but this was definitely based off of ritual animalistic magic, and so that's what.
My guild leader of my World of Warcraft guild is based in Ohio, so I don't know if I'll have my 5 o'clock game tonight. We'll see.
If it's that stormy.
Yep.
Yeah, if it can crash us over here. Actually, what happened is we found a bug.
Yeah,
Amazingly enough.
yeah, we had sort of like
well,
a
let's
tapping.
see if it's going to happen
I
again.
don't think it'll happen again.
No.
We had a sort of tapping, and then it sounded like dancing, and I need
It
to.
was very rhythmic,
This is a problem.
I guess. Gotta quit again.
Quit again. I don't have to quit again. But it's
Simbani
useless.
might be the most Earth-like place in the series. No magic and no animal people. It feels like it could be someplace you could travel to. That's exactly what we were trying to
And
get
I
that
think
feel
she
to.
did a pretty good job of making it realistic. Southwestern Ohio, Greater Cincinnati right now.
Power dropped off 3 times, but it came back. Good. All right.
I went to a bridge tournament in Cincinnati one time.
Oh boy.
At the time, it was
All right.
like
So we were sitting here on this screen for
Innocently.
a while,
and,
just sitting here, minding our own business.
and then we started hearing tap tap tapping, and then it got faster and faster, more rhythmic, and sounded like somebody dancing in our screen.
Yeah.
And we have no idea where that
Yeah,
came
but
from.
it got too loud. Yeah.
So
There were no bugs in Quest for Glory 5 either. I'm not. Yes.
how do we get up here?
You keep going.
This way?
Yeah. That
Oh, I
way.
gotta cross over. Cross over to the other side. Up there, out there. Okay. This looks like we're gonna go off the thing, but
Where we are.
we'll keep going. Okay, so we were going around this gigantic tree, and this was designed in multiple screens to give the idea that this is not a tree like you've ever seen before. This is a tree like the heart of the world, and I think that in fact is the name for it in the game. I think they call it the heart of the world.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know where we are.
We're off the screen. There we are.
Okay. So we are working away through this tree that has waterfalls running through it. Oh, there we are. There is pathfinding in here, but
Which Quest for Glory? We're in Quest for Glory 3. If
this
you
is
know.
Quest for Glory 3, Wages of War.
Yeah.
And we went to E3 convention. Another company there was showing up the war game they were working on, which was called Wages of War. And they said, you can't use that name, we have that name. Oh, did I get that
You
in?
have to, yeah, I think so. You have to go back and get to the upper road.
Oh, there we go. And rather than fight it, having had the experience of having to change Heroes Quest to Quest for Glory, our general manager said, oh yes indeed, we will change the game, and we made some assets that, oh, something happened. Your turn.
An incredible feeling of living energy flows as through you as you enter. You smell the perfumes of thousands of different flowers, all blending together to overwhelm your senses.
We went for a walk last night, and Laurie made sure that she stopped to smell the flowers.
At least the gardenias
They smell wonderful.
and the mock oranges.
And I always like to smell the pines and the eucalyptus trees.
You hear the sounds of all living things in here, creating a melody that is so beautiful that you are moved to tears. It is the music of life itself. Was this made as one giant watercolor so that the edges of the tree lined up when you crossed into a different
It
room?
is many paintings overlaid together. put
Yeah,
together.
the one from Space Quest,
We're going to lose this
I
line.
know that the very air invigorates and revitalizes you. You feel as though you've reached the ultimate center of all living things in the universe, and you are suddenly the source of all energy and life.
The one from EcoQuest, we actually had the painting from it and that had a huge. This place is totally awesome, dude.
Yes. Yes, we had a board that was like 4 by 4.
It had about 4 across by 3 tall, so it had about 12 rooms painted on it that together made up a series of scenes. So that is one approach they might have used.
These were individuals, but yes, the EcoQuest did it as one big painting that they painted all together, but they only painted the edge of the pictures that they were actually showing, so you only got some of it. You could probably stay in there for the night, that's a safe spot. You're in the center of all the universe. What time is it?
I don't know. I feel all the still totally awesome. Mm-hmm. All right, let's get the hands on. They stop us here. The time is still early evening. Not quite midnight. It's about 10 o'clock. Mm-hmm. Well, that's when normal people go to sleep. So we can save. Giant tree.
Descriptions like this really remind me of descriptions by DM. Yes.
Place. And then we will go to sleep.
EcoQuest was a great game. Good. I'm glad you enjoyed it.
Sleep till morning. Hopefully we won't get called back. Oh! It looks totally different during the day. Mm-hmm. You awaken as the sun begins to rise.
Is there anything else you can do where you can walk here?
Well, there must be, but I haven't found it yet.
Okay.
You see a spiral platform growing out of the earth. We can walk up on it. We're a magician.
Yeah.
Let's do a magic. Nope, can't do a magic here.
Lori, if you were tasked with making a Laura Bode game, would you rather make a game where the player was absolutely clueless and had to undercover everything, or one where they witnessed the murder and knew who did it but had to figure out the how and why? I think that it would be to do Laura Bode properly. I think that you would do it with the you have to uncover everything and all the mystery, but that whoever did it was relative to what you actually saw, who actually you listened to, and that would make, and to create that, it would be a tree of, if you went here, you had just chosen who was the murderer by what your choice determined who the murderer was. So I don't care for the Columbo style, which was you saw the murderer, you know who did it, you're trying to prove it, and it's all about watching Columbo stumble through and figure things out.
A little more like Sherlock Holmes.
Yeah, Columbos are fun or funny a few times, and then they get old, and I wish they would change the stupid plot line so that it wasn't always the same plot line.
So Sherlock Holmes stories always started out with something really weird happening, and then Holmes trying to make deductions and says it's a capital mistake to deduce in advance of the facts, but he always jumped to conclusions, so we mocked it a little bit, but the stories flow really nicely as he gradually uncovers clues and then from it figures out what crazy things happened.
So yes, that's how I would do a Laura Bode thing, is actually have a bunch of
crazy things happening.
The plot line would basically be the same. The same person probably would die each game because it depends on the size of the game, whether it's a small game or a large game. If it's a large game, then I can kill off more characters is what it comes down to.
Well, the famous Agatha Christie book was And Then There Were None, in which pretty much everybody dies. And that's what Roberta based Mystery House on, and then again with Accordance Bequest. So.
Yeah, part of me really wants to see a murder mystery RPG. It's not something that's been done before, as far as I know. As a genre, not very often. It's hard to pull off a good one. Mysteries
there have been a lot of murder mystery games. I mean, there's the whole Nancy Drew series.
No, RPG.
Oh, murder
as
mystery
opposed
RPG.
To an adventure game An adventure game. There have been some mystery
could work.
adventure games, but an RPG would be very interesting.
Yeah, I mean, you'd probably set it in more or less modern times, or maybe Victorian. So it'd be guns and stuff.
Victorian, clearly.
All right, but there'd be guns and stuff. So you, as you were going through, you would have to have combat, and you know, it makes sense.
Ooh, a Columbo, Japanese Columbo. That would be fun. Yes.
Furuhata Ninzaburo.
Yeah. I think L.A. Noire had a kind of system that branched out when you incorrectly read your suspect's emotions. Ah, yes. So yeah, L.A. Noire and what was the detective games? Tex Murphy.
Oh, Tex Murphy.
Tex Murphy's games were all about mystery solving.
So the problem with Tex Murphy, and the problem here, is we have a serious game with a serious storyline and trying to prevent a war and so on, but we're also trying to make it humorous. And so that's where we had that beautiful flowing description that Lori wrote. And then maybe I came in to write the
Oh no, it
total
wasn't
bummer dude.
me. I wanted to.
All right, she wanted to make it a little bit silly, and I just got the same thing looking at this tree. You never saw a purple tree, you never hoped to see one, but from the branch that you have found, you guessed that it might be fun. Which is from an old poem that says, you never saw a purple cow. I never saw a purple cow.
I never hoped to see one. But from the milk we're getting now, I'm sure that there must be one.
Oh, it's
That
another
was
variant.
that was
wasn't the
Ogden
original.
Nash's variant.
Okay.
Yes.
I'd rather see than be one was the original. So maybe I can reach out to this tree, or maybe I think again. Well, okay. They won't let me cast spells.
They won't let you cast spells?
No. You pick a purple leaf. It smells like grape. It tastes like a cross between a plum and a blueberry.
Oh, good. We ate a leaf.
Let us
How did you arrive at the big wizard plot line being to craft a staff?
don't see
Well,
it.
because
I
they
don't
had to
see
have
a leaf.
something to do. No, you
I
ate
guess-
it.
Oh, we ate it.
You ate it.
Um,
You can't cast spells. That's interesting. So
I'll
you
talk
get
to the
sense
tree.
magic.
doesn't say much.
Wizards felt small otherwise without a big piece of wood to compensate. Exactly.
This one says a blue tree with purple leaves must be a cerulean shrub with tendencies to violence. But obviously violet. The purple leaves fill the air with the odor of licorice. Oh, it's just a lot of different hop spots here. This large flower has a strong odor of chocolate mint. What's this thing here? This orange tree has leaves which smell like cloves. Well, this spiral has got to be meaningful for something, but maybe it's not meaningful for where we are yet.
No, you have to do something, I'm sure. When you're done with your playthrough in the Quest for Glory series, do you think you could play EcoQuest Rainforest? Yeah, maybe.
Maybe I'd have to buy it.
Yep, we have to get somewhere. I mean, we have to actually, there's an awful lot of games that we need to play that we're going to take forever because we're terrible at this.
This
We're too
seems to
slow.
be like the center of the
That
tree.
is. I know that's where you actually do stuff. How you do it, I don't know.
Although we couldn't see it
Especially
last
since
night.
you can't say.
The object obvious would be to cast Detect Magic.
Yeah, The walking here is tricky. Thank you. Yes, you can help us at this. We would have, yes, before we play EcoQuest, we'd have to play Dr. Brain, and we'd have to play Fairy Tales, and of course all our other games. So it would be a while before we did that. We'll
Let's
sometimes
see.
play one-offs.
Yeah, I've got a tinderbox. Magic tree.
You're going to set fire to the tree?
That didn't do any good. Oh, Tisk. I should have complained bitterly.
Oh well. Alright, so we need stuff before we can come here again.
We were supposed to
Speak
be getting.
to the tree. Can you speak to the tree?
I tried to. It didn't say.
No, speak. You make yourself speak.
Oh, speak me speak. It doesn't. What? Maybe it's not on me. Yeah, because I was trying to talk to it. No one seems to be listening.
Yeah. You need some Marana's Peace. Well, we need some clues is what we need. We haven't got our clues to do this. What we should do is go back to the village. We should go back to talk to Krisha and see what we need for this.
Okay, we could tell her we found a magic tree, and maybe she'll tell us about it.
Maybe.
It doesn't say much, and that's
No,
me.
That's you.
Okay, so we're obviously not getting anywhere
Water
here.
from the pond, yeah. No,
from the pool of peace that we
Peace,
don't
yes,
have. There's this water here from the waterfall. Think again. Do I have a container for it? Probably not. I could drink all of my potion and then I'd have one.
You have a water skin.
What's this one? This is I'm on a pill. Oh, that's right. I only have pills. I have water skin. That's true. Look at my
Who
water
else
skin.
likes to move the cursors over things to give them giant lips or dragons for heads?
Okay, let's try. That didn't do any
No,
good.
no.
How about watering the tree? Oh, wait. What did that say? I got something different. I thought I got something different.
No.
Water the flowers.
Nope, can't water the plants.
Okay, so I think maybe we were supposed to be here to discover it, and that having discovered it, we need guidance.
Yeah, clearly. We have not figured out what we're doing. So yeah, people complained there wasn't enough guidance for this one. Well, maybe they're right.
You might be right, yeah. Oop.
Gotta get
I'll be
out
back here over and over.
Yeah, because you can't figure out how to get it out of here. There's another room on the tree. Thank you for letting us know. Okay.
How do you get there?
Try going down.
Down here?
I know. Yeah. Okay, fine. You're stopped there.
I mean, back here seems like it'd be.
How
Maybe
much of
through
these
another.
games do you remember? Clearly not much. I mean, it's been...
I mean, this looks like an area, but it's not reachable. I think there was probably another side passage. Now, remember, we got here in the dark, so we didn't actually know quite where we were going.
Is that another room I could?
Up here? I don't think so.
Oh, well.
Yeah, I did see a place that I thought looked like a room.
The way down the tree is hard because of the pathing area. Best to just make smallish movements. Thank
Yes.
you. I figured it.
We figured that out. You find yourself in a strange cave-like hole in the tree. There's a feeling of peace and serenity within, the scent of strange flowers. Oh, there's some magic things. See a strange glowing sphere of pure energy. It doesn't say much. How about me saying, greet? You say hello, but there is no response.
Magic! Yay, we can do magic!
Which one's detect?
Well, go around and mouse over. There we go. The one with the eye. What do you know?
There's a strong aura of magic surrounding you. The glowing object also radiates with power. I can trigger it, but that's a little scary thing to do.
I don't even remember where most of the clues are anymore because I've just memorized what
We
to do.
didn't find any.
I can play it brain turned on
Okay,
now.
dazzling lights, but that might hurt it.
Yes.
So I think
Calm.
force bolt or
Calm.
a trigger spell is good. Dazzle spell, probably not a good idea.
Could do a zap spell though. Calm spell. Try calming it.
Okay. A feeling of peace and tranquility fills the area. Oh, I already had one.
Seem to hear voices coming from inside your head. Welcome to the mother of the world. We are the Guardian.
Oh, the game author probably remembered how to do that.
What is it that you seek?
I'm flashing.
It goes from the beginning, Corey.
Okay,
Don't
we'll go
just
through
run-
everything. Guardian.
We are the Guardian. We protect the mother of the world. There can be no actions of harm within the heart of the mother because of our powers.
Greet, answer, Guardian. You start to tell the Guardian about peace.
You are a creature of peace, and so are most welcome here.
Mother, hear the voices in your head again.
The mother of the world is the first tree. She is the source of all living plants. She is the living heart of all plants.
Glory, by the way, is an avid gardener and loves plants and trees. Answer, Guardian. No.
Yeah.
Oh well.
You have to click on it when the thing is glowing, yes.
Tree.
The tree is the mother of the world. Wood. If you desire some magical wood from the mother of the world, you must first earn it.
Well, darn! I thought they'd just give it to us.
Seek in the jungle a blue orchid. Bathe it in the life essence of the pool of peace, where the moon shines upon its when the moon shines upon its waters. Return with the glowing blue orchid to the heart of the world. Place it upon the stand, and you shall gain the magical wood that you desire.
Tell about Shapir? Why not? Start to tell about Shapir, the voices erupt.
Most strange. We do not understand your customs or your actions.
Enough already! Say goodbye. Oh, can't.
Behold the single most annoying quest for wizard speedrunners.
I say, as you think about saying goodbye, you hear the voices say farewell. So, the real trick was finding this place. There were not sufficient clues to come up here. And that's one of the, pet peeves I have about World of Warcraft, is the game is basically unplayable without, Wowhead or some other walkthrough or something.
Anyway, I finally introduced this game to my wife recently when we did a playthrough of Quest for Glory 3. She played through some of the other Quest for Glory games, but not this one until now.
I can't get any water here.
The Blue Orchid is a real pain. Oh, hell. Coles, are you playing a save from Quest for Glory 1 or 2? No,
we started fresh.
We start fresh so that we can play a different character class each game. Depending upon the game, which one we want to play.
And I can't remember if we asked people or if I opted for magic user on the grounds that, the leopard people are some of the most interesting parts of this, and I really wanted to do the magic stuff.
No, we did not restore our game.
All right, so...
And because Jester as a rogue, this is not a good... The last one we played was Jester a rogue, and this is not a good rogue game to me. Have you ever played Dungeons of Daggorath?
No.
Didn't play that one.
We're old people that have only played ancient games, like we can talk about Dungeon Master, which nobody remembers anymore.
Heroes of Might and Magic.
Heroes of Might and Magic. That's a
So no
strategy
suck
game.
blue frogs. Nope.
No, we don't do that. That would be wrong. Okay, where are we going to find a blue orchid? There might be one around here somewhere.
In the jungle. So we're in the jungle.
I mean, there might have been one farther up the tree, but...
No, it wouldn't be in the tree.
Somewhere in the jungle, huh? There's a... Trees and vines surround you. This plant is seedy looking. Oh, let's pluck it. Think again. Oh, what's that up there? It's blue.
What?
You see some lovely
Jeez.
orchids growing in the branches of a mango
all right,
tree.
well, I guess it isn't so tough after all.
What?
Magic,
Oh, that's not the right menu. I always confuse the two stars.
I think our hand is probably our correct one.
No, fetch is what I want. Oh,
Yes.
is that? Oh, you think that's that? Yep.
Yes.
Okay. Hand is fetch. You magically fetch one of the orchids. What was hard about that?
Yeah, gee.
Speedrunners are bothered by that trivial puzzle?
Now we have to get out of there, though. All right.
Orchid expires in 2 hours.
Does it really?
No. Lovely flower smells vaguely like vanilla.
Because vanilla comes from orchids, yes.
Does?
It's RNG, and we have the RNG part to us.
Okay,
All
there's
right,
an
let's
interesting thing here. That sounds like a monster.
It looks like a monster, giant ant.
Should we fight one of these? We haven't saved in a while, and we just got a major puzzle item that they said is hard. Oh, this is a terrible place to save, though. Okay, we're going to have to outrun this one, but after that I'll save.
Yeah, and then we should fight. As I said, we really, should be fighting.
Yes. We got away this time. Okay, so let us save the game. Save.
Speedrunners get really testy when they're having a great run, and the orchid will not pop. Yes, it is.
Oh, it's guaranteed to pop for us because we designed the game.
Right.
Well, Lori did.
Clearly, the.
Okay, I have saved, and I will now reduce the speed to normal. It's not that high.
Even worse, when it takes so long to pop, they get in too much of a groove checking screens, and they walk away from the orchid. Yes. The orchid is less of a problem in 100% runs.
It's an interesting looking place. One of the things I should have done earlier was cast Zap. Is that this?
Yes, that's a zap.
Our weapon is now magically charged. Passing through an impenetrable jungle.
Well, it's not very impenetrable if we're passing through it.
The main thing's up there, and therefore I went over here instead. Oh, I got out of it.
I guess that isn't significant.
I don't know
It's
what
just
that was. Yeah, just every once in a while it puts you in a close-up scene.
without any
Clue.
obvious.
See me back in walking mode. It's actually a little slow. If I can use an ion. Hills this area look as though they were formed by armies of giant ants in a workaholic mood.
Oh, okay. Well, that explains why we're running into giant ants.
I don't see any though.
Well, she run away from two of them.
Oh yeah, but okay. Oh, that doesn't seem to be accessible. It's getting dark.
Oh boy.
Spent a lot of time at this. And we've got a time limit because we've got a war to prevent.
First time chat from David Valiant. I want to say I love these games. Grew up on them, and they made me fall in love with RPG adventure games. Thanks for the incredible series. Thank you very much.
You're
We really
welcome.
Appreciate it. Yes. Yes. Was that the location of the giant ant dungeon, which ended up getting cut from the game? Yeah. Yeah. It's the giant ant. And it looks like a giant ant farm.
All right. I can't type
Oh,
cast.
there we go. There's our ant.
All right, Dazzle.
Sure, that'd work well at night. All right, we've dazzled it.
Cast. Flame dart.
Sure.
This one.
Well, that looks like it should be a flame dart, I would guess. Okay, better cast
Now the-
something.
Oh, that was still up, so I could have just cast it again. You always hurt the one you love. The battle's about to begin. Flame dart.
You better run away because we're not very good at close combat. And it's better than we are. Why did Ant Dungeon get cut? Because I just made it up. Yes, exactly.
More away.
You can't spam magic attacks too fast.
I see that.
You got pills you could take inventory.
Yeah. Is it red for health?
I think it is.
Boom. 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 It feels good.
Do a calm spell or a dazzle
Character
again.
sheet. Our health is up to 46 out of 110. I mean, it felt good, but our mana's low too. Dazzle might give us enough time to take some more.
Healy pills like that.
Yeah.
Yep, only where it lasts for one run. Now dazzle it.
Didn't have time to.
You did.
It's, you know.
Oh, it is. You're getting it. You might be able to get it.
I might die.
You might. You did.
Ant agonize. You need an ant acid antidote. Restore.
We didn't get to finish reading the puns, Corey. Don't
Oh,
do that.
Sorry. I'm sure it'll
I
happen
mean,
again.
we were trying to find an ant to fight. Remember? We
Yeah.
were trying to test out our.
And it killed us.
Whoop. Zap.
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 Yep.
And then dazzle. Oh. What do
It's
we
a
got
different
there?
one.
It's a green thing.
Looks like a troll. Looks dangerous. Better not go off half cocked,
Crocked.
half crocked against us. Meaning we should check our character sheet and see what our health looks like. We are at full health and almost full mana.
These are easy. Oop. Not if you let them
These
catch up on
said
you.
bees or these?
These.
It's time to prove yourself. That's nice. Powerful magic weapon spells. I don't remember what that one is.
I mean, they're combat spells, clearly. Not your sword.
I'm not clicking the sword.
This is buried.
Yes. Go in the other room and I'll come back after my stream. That is my brother. Okay, mixing up physical attacks and spells seems to be working. Mostly. We still got pretty hurt.
Okay.
Glorious victory. Oh, it was a croc. It was
Yes.
Crocodile. Was
That's
for a
why,
handbag factory.
yes, I tried to correct your.
It wasn't a troll.
It wasn't a troll.
Fortunately, crocodiles are far from an endangered species around here. Let's search it. Searching the body, you find 2 royals. That will not pay for all the potions we used on
you
it.
ate, yes. But you did fight. Did you? What's your stats looking like now?
Oh, I don't know. I just oh no, I didn't actually bring that up. Okay, there we go. Our magic has gone up. Our intelligence has gone up.
Yay.
Our health has gone way down. Our mana is half.
Okay. Yeah, these are easy, but we haven't done any combat, so
Therefore, we have not
we
built
are
ourselves
terrible.
up. This is a practice makes perfect game. And we're now down about a third. Mana's half, so mana's critical. But we'll use one more of these. I wonder how many I have.
I don't know.
We bought some.
We used them all.
We
That's
used them
what
all.
it is, yeah.
Poison cure pills and mana pills. I mentioned it before, but when I originally did the design for Heroes Quest,
Looks like we only had one mana pill.
oh my, that's because we used some earlier. Let's save again then. When I originally did the design for Heroes Quest, I tried to balance it so that if you were fighting an appropriate difficulty monster, that you would be able to defeat it losing no more than half your health and probably only about a third. If you met 2 of them in quick succession, you would have a tough fight, but you would live through it. But you would not have enough health to be able to survive 3 in quick succession. So that you were supposed to, let's go to, it's nighttime.
Yeah, so let's
Or we could go to the pool piece.
And just gonna run away.
Yep, you got away this time. I probably could have gone to the pool piece, but we don't know that because we've never been there.
We haven't been there yet.
It's day 6, and I'm sure they will welcome us back at the Samani village. Oh, Jumbo! Greet. Zori! Ask about the village. The village be where we stay for the night. The savannah be our home. Is this my hut?
Amusingly,
Think again.
Amusingly, I've recently come into a cache of some newly reissued Hero Quest game expansions, looking into how well I could translate Quest for Glory into that board game system. So it's an interesting intellectual.
Yeah, we periodically have gotten 3 or 4 or 5 people write to us and say that they were doing tabletop role-playing campaigns and that they wanted to base them on Quest for Glory. And there's 2 categories of them. One of them says, "I'm doing this." And I hope you're okay with it. And the other is like, would it be okay for me to do that? And the answer to the latter is always, of course, you know. But then I say, are you sure you want to do that? Or would you rather make your own stories?
Yeah. Modern Release actually has a proper dragon now, so I might be able to run all 5. That would be very interesting. I don't think I've ever started this game with a brand new character, always imported, yes. Interested to see how tough these fights could be for a new character. Yes, especially one that has avoided fights every time by running away, so therefore has no
Well, do
skills.
recall that we went through 7 or 8 years, 4 expansion, 4 issues of releases of Quest for Glory with no dragons.
Yeah.
And the final one, the dragon isn't really quite a dragon, but close enough. Looks like a
Yeah,
dragon.
so yeah, we avoided the dragons from the Dungeon and Dragons.
I'm hearing that crackling noise.
That's the fire. Sleep until morning. That's the fire.
Okay, so we have survived the thing, but we are out of health and mana pills.
We should go back and go to the Pool of Peace and things like that, yeah. Hero Quest is definitely much lighter. It's very much a player's first dungeon kind of thing. Yes, exactly.
Well, sort of, but the initial builds of it, the dungeon was very tough. I couldn't survive it. And I eventually eased up on a lot of the fights. And then we had one of our major playtesters saying...
No, he's talking about Hero Quest, the board game. The board game.
I thought you were talking about Hero Rogue Redemption.
No, board game.
Hero Quest, yes. Yeah, there was a...
we played it
Wizards of the Coast. Yeah, we owned it.
If I did Quest for Glory on tabletop, I'd like to keep the lore and world, but playing OG, yes. Yes, maybe a party with Human, Kata, and Liontar all traveling together.
That'd be great.
And that's what, yes, a tabletop is. You let the players do what they want, and you'll find out you have Human and Kata and Liontar all traveling together, whether you wanted to or not, yes.
So TSR had a game called Dungeon that was a board game loosely based on Dungeons & Dragons. That was kind of fun, but very limited.
Nope, you gotta go to the side. Yeah, the problem was I couldn't stage direct this game, unlike some of the other ones.
Right, because the artists were off in a different place.
And because it was, you know...
As you approach this pool of bubbling water, you feel a sense of serenity and peace. Pool bubbles as the fountain flows. There's fountain water. The Impala looks at you and the cheetah without fear. The cheetah lying on the rock looks at you calmly, but it's not worth looting because, as we know, cheetahs never prosper, so it won't have enough loot to be worth taking.
I always like that the cheetah just sits there and lets you pet it. Yes, well...
That's it?
Doesn't everybody really want someday to pet a cheetah?
As you pat its soft fur. Now, see, I always used the word pet and had never learned the word pat with respect to an animal. But I discovered that apparently a lot of people prefer the word pat. You pat the cat. You pat the dog. Whereas to me, it's always been pet the dog.
Yeah, well, it's a different motion, clearly.
I guess so.
Let's see. I'm kind of surprised that being a hero that you would fight the leopardmen in the jungle when you're supposed to make peace with them. Well, that's a good point, but you know, when somebody's about trying to kill you, you know, all you can do is defend yourself.
I filled my water skin from the pool.
The board game that forced the rename. Well, it was the computer game based on the board game that forced the rename.
Ah, you drink from the cold, clear water. It has a slightly sweet taste and tingles in your mouth.
Does that do anything for you?
Gives you diabetes? No, I don't think. I don't know.
Look at your health.
Our health is full. We slept all night.
All right, fine. So
And I
we'll
had used
never
one.
know.
Puzzle points 43. We haven't gotten very many of the
No,
500
yeah.
now.
Now use your
Orchid.
working, yes. Let's see.
I remember the plot line.
Yeah, okay. Takes more than one if you can. Take more than one if you
You
can.
get the orchid wet, but nothing much happens. Are you doing this right? Uh-oh. Cast a spell on it? Strong orb of magic here, particularly near the large rock.
What's that?
Oh, let's try and get to the large rock.
Yeah, well, that's not probably the rock.
It
What's that?
glowed over there.
It did. So do it detect magic again.
Gray stones look very nice. Look again. Cast.
Detect magic.
This one?
That's the eye.
This one. There's a strong air, particularly near the large
All right, there's
rock.
the one. Now look at that. No. You're not gonna. You'd have to find the.
That didn't do any good.
Why would it do good? It's a glowy thing. It says E.
A bad habit of dozing off during Rune Lore 101. But this one you remember. It is a symbol for peace. Ah, so there was a rune set here by someone, and it kind of looks like the letter E in the middle of it.
Yeah, sure looks like an E to me.
So that may just be informational.
All right, see if you can do it here. Or
I don't think
the
so.
water. The water. No.
The Orchid wet, but nothing much happens. Are you doing this right? Maybe if I trigger the fountain. Nothing seems to have been triggered. Dazzle. Fetch water. It's a spell.
Well,
It's a headset.
it does.
Reversal spell.
Okay.
And this one is the juggling light spell. And there is the levitate spell. We could levitate.
We could levitate up to it, yeah.
Now's not a good time to cast the levitate spell. What about over here? Oop, wrong spell. Sorry.
You're not by where you levitate anyway.
Here?
Why would you levitate there? It makes no sense.
By the rocks?
By the rock where you...
I don't think anything is special.
I don't think so
I think
either,
it was just
but-
informational.
Yeah.
Levitate? No.
No, okay, fine.
Let us... Oh, no, I can't cast Detect Magic on the orchid. Oh. Is that a calm spell?
Mm-hmm.
What's this one? Only happens.
Maybe a one you have to cast on something.
Well, it's meant to be a rune of peace. If that's not a fountain, but actually a blue meep bobbing in the water.
Yeah, but
There are two places to use this water. You'll need more skins.
well, did you get the water? I see you did get the water.
I did get the water. We could use this on that, maybe.
No.
Nothing much happens.
That's your money pouch.
Oh.
That's your skin.
That didn't do you any good.
You've already filled it with water.
Well, I guess we've lost the game. It's a time thing.
Yes, it is a time thing because it said when the moon is full, when the moon is up.
Really?
Yeah, it did.
You mean we slept last night?
Well, we would have gotten
Arg!
there.
We could have just come straight here.
Could have, but it was a little dark. Yes, it did mention moonlight for the orchid.
Well,
We could
it's
go out and kill something while we leave this pool
With
of peace
no-
and go kill
with
something.
no health or mana potions.
Well, you know.
Nope. All we can do is come back to the pool over and over. Unless we go around this way.
You could do that. Well, someone in Tarna needs that water. Yes. Yes, we could go back to Tarna, but we're... What do we got here? Get your zap spell up? Yep.
I don't know. Somewhere in the midst of the trackless
Well, if we
grassland.
can't magic right now, let's go kill something. Yes, exactly.
And how do we do that without magic?
I don't know. We have some magic, so, you know.
I don't know. We're in the savannah,
Remember,
but nothing.
hoboing at its best.
Oh, maybe it's maybe we want to get to the end. Oh, wait, it's getting darker. Did we go too far? So early evening. Cast. Oh, not cast. This button. Dazzle. Rock over here. Cast. I really think Flame Dart's the best, but if I recall in the Quest for Glory 5, it's like the ice spell is the best thing.
Well, what's your newest spell?
Oop.
Well, that'll work until you run out of magic points.
Which won't take long.
Too late.
I have heard it.
Alright, that's the flaming sword you're clicking on, Corey. Don't ever click
Isn't
on
that the
sword.
attack?
No, yes, but you don't want a sword. You want a spell.
Oh, I see. So we have a spell interface. I can die again.
Die again, yes, you darn. 'Cause you didn't learn your interface in the last game.
Ha! It died before I did.
Amazing.
Dead end, 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 dead end. Well, you get the idea.
Yes.
And we were told there's another way to read this, which is dead end, 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 dead end. So, various ways you can read it, but we had the first one. Okay, we are probably in absolutely perfect condition with 13 health points left, but a lot of magic. We didn't use that much mana.
Yes. Yeah, I first thought of the Pink Panthers team myself. Didant, 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 didant.
That's true. That's what we were using.
Yes.
So there are at least 3 ways to do it. So Mon at 98 to 771. I would have done much better to alternate the.
Yes, you would have. All right, let's see if you searched that. You haven't searched it yet.
Yes, I did.
Oh, you did?
I think.
No, you didn't.
You don't find anything
All right,
useful. I think I
you
did.
did. Now let's get back to the pool of peas.
Peace.
Moon
Stay
is
7.
almost
The
up.
moon is rising. Oh, I can come from that direction. I just can't leave in that direction.
Moon creates a shimmer on the water.
Ah,
Moon on the water.
there's a strong aura of magic here, particularly near that rock. But let us take our flower. I didn't remember the part about moonlight, so
I know you didn't.
because I don't read the text of these games. I rely on my players, my viewers. As you dip the orchid in the water, it starts to glow with an azure light. That would be a shade of blue.
And the moon is up, and you can see the moon in the background.
Yes,
So
there's
yeah,
the moon. The moon casts a mysterious shimmer on the pool. This pool bubbles as the mountain flows.
we can sleep here.
There's a feeling of peace and serenity.
Mine.
The same comfortable feeling that nothing will harm you here. But I'll save again because we've gotten through the moonlight.
Yes, and it's,
Even though we have almost no health and I
That's
seem
why
to
we
recall on a previous playthrough that we slept here and we expected it to completely heal our
we haven't. This is our first time here in this game.
This game.
So yeah.
but we did run this a few years ago.
Oh, you could watch the moon past.
Yep, moon went out. You awaken as the sun begins to rise, and that room is still glowing.
It is. Really likes you.
Character sheet. Now I'm all the way up to 57 out of 100, 11 mana, 165 out of 171 magic. I wonder if we can rest some more.
Around this piece, Quest for Glory 1 was 100% healing, which made it more desirable than anywhere else. Yes.
Okay, after 60 more minutes of rest, we got up to 62 health, half health. That should be good enough. We'll just go through the entire jungle with no
No,
healing.
we're going back to the
Or should I go back to the tree?
all right, fine. We can go back to the tree.
She asked us to
Uh-huh.
bring her that orchid.
They did.
And for all we know, it's urgent. Run away! That one looks too big for us.
You have to do us. All right, fine. No, extra spells. Do this.
Oh, it
It's
is?
already up, so you
Oh, it
better.
automatically did that when we started running, apparently. Yeah, it did that for us. Up and make it. Run away!
Run away.
We'll go in the opposite direction, make it all the way back to Tarna. We got away this time. Stay 8. How much health did we lose in that adventure? We lost 14 points of health.
You need to do a zap spell.
I need to run away from everything. Just like we did.
Brave Sir Robin. Boldly run away.
Okay, we need a player vote. Should we fight the next monster we see?
Depends on the monster. Don't vote. They'll kill us all.
Oh, I can't cast magic here. I have to be on one of those screens.
Like that one. This one we run
That'll
away.
kill
See,
us.
that's
That'll kill
why
us.
we don't ask. We just do.
Giant ant might be able to. Does the giant ant have poison? Or
Is
acid?
it acid?
I got away this time. Okay, now I can cast a spell that says zap. Weapon is now magically charged. This is a very dangerous savannah. Now, we did something similar in Shannara where we had the little tiny dot moving across the map. I don't know what that is, but it's a magic using. Oh, it's a leopard man. We should talk to it. Asked it why it attacked the Simbani. I don't think...
Why it attacked us?
On sight, without us even having done anything other than enter its jungle. That looks
Even more terrifying.
Not really. It doesn't look that terrifying. It's just a wyvern.
Poisoned, and we're dying. Money would only be significant via crocs, leopardmen, and
Got away this time.
Yeah, the humanoids.
I will use a poison potion as soon as I figure out the interface. You start taking. Oh, you don't need. No, it wasn't poisoned.
You didn't get poisoned.
I didn't get poisoned, but I'm down to 28 health. Maybe we should have gone back to Tarna.
Or
Think again is a good question.
Uh-huh.
Or the Sabani village, but what time is it? Day is it? It is
Now
getting
we
to
need to
afternoon.
get to the tree.
That's what I thought, but it's awfully dangerous with.
Yeah, I know. We'll have to run
Not
away
prepared.
again.
I'm not fighting any battles.
Oh,
We probably
God,
won't
no.
fight any battles at the tree.
No.
We could go down to normal speed.
You definitely
so
want to get to
cartoony.
Tarna soon. Yes, you do.
We definitely want to get to Tarna soon,
Uh-huh,
somebody
yes,
said?
Yes. But we won't be getting there tonight.
Alright, maybe a slightly faster speed. But not-
As I recall, the wizards is a core, staff is a core requirement to advance as a wizard. I think so. That
we believe so. That's the way it was designed.
or at least as our memory goes. Yes.
Okay, we learned about the blue orchid here.
Yes.
So let's go back to that cave.
Yes. Although they did say to use it in the
You remember that sort of thing?
I do actually.
Do any of the rest of us remember it? Find yourself in a strange cave-like hole.
Let's see if we can cast the calm spell again.
So we did.
Yes, we did.
It's calm, not magic.
Yeah.
Calm is this one. Being a peace and tranquility fills the area. It might not have been range.
Might not.
It's not talking to us. Tell about orchid. You start to tell the guardian about the glowing blue orchid. The guardian
Take your
speaks.
gift to the heart of the world above. When you place it upon the stand, you shall receive what you desire.
Can I say thank you?
Those lights can also give you an item if you ask.
That's great.
Thank you.
Seems to be listening.
Okay.
What is it that you seek?
What do you need to
Guardian.
ask, though?
You're the guardian. Well, I don't know the interface for doing that except maybe to click a. Oh, I see. It is become one with us is what it's doing.
Yes, and it's only when it's
Tell about. Oh, there's more stuff here. Tell
Yeah.
about water. Water from the pool of peace.
take the magical essence to the heart of the world above. Place it on the stand, and you shall be rewarded.
Should it repeat itself? Say goodbye. Time to say goodbye. All right, I'm trying to see if I
Didn't
can.
you go into the temple? No, we haven't gone into the temple. We don't know to ask
There's a
about the
temple?
gem. Yes. Malphon Hero, when it's not glowing, equals talking to the guardian. Yes, I know in the interface. I'm not sure Corey understood the interface. You had to click when he was not glowing.
When it was not glowing?
Not glowing was was to tell it things. Glowing was to ask it things.
That's weird.
Oh no, you're talking to it. You're clicking.
Well,
on-
I know, but it's a weird interface. It is not intuitive.
I have a problem with it.
Obviously, the glowing means something, but the player doesn't know what
Yes,
the
they
glowing
do.
means.
They see the thing envelop you.
I can't get up in this thing. Oh, you have to hand click on it.
Corey's not wrong. Oh well. That's because I made it up. I didn't have a problem with the interface for obvious
Is
reasons.
it on the tree
On the
pedestal?
pedestal, yeah.
You gently place the glowing blue orchid on the platform. Oh, and there's a branch that wasn't there before. It's kind of crooked. I thought the staff was supposed to be straight. You pluck the magical piece of wood from the tree.
Boy, you're gonna, straighten it.
Let's see if this magically restored all my health and mana. It did.
Okay.
When did that happen?
You can also use the pool water here, but you lose it and the water skin. Okay, fine. We don't want to use it right now. We need to buy more water skins and things.
Go back to awesome place. Overwrite my awesome place. Alright. Small
Yes,
screen.
better wait till you have at least one more. Okay.
Oh,
Yeah,
have
you
to-
end up reaching the pool water twice if I'm not misremembering it. Okay, fine. So we do need to get more water skins.
Magic wood weighing 60 quarks. From the aura, you sense that this is a stick of magical wood. It's about the right size for making into a staff. If you don't mind your staff being a little crooked. The water weighs 80 quarks, so it's not too heavy. It looks like water, smells like water, but tastes like ginger ale. And of course, you have to know that both Lori and I love ginger ale. The time is night,
So you
early
could go
evening.
to sleep here.
That's what I was thinking, but we don't need to. We're at full health.
Okay, fine. Go out and go get
Do
killed.
we get tired?
Well,
I don't know that we do get tired in this game. We just get hungry and dead.
yeah. Well, speaking of hungry,
Where's my magic magnet to take me back to time down the stream?
yeah, gotta
I'll be back here. We're going back and forth for a while.
Yeah.
Well, I've been needing to
What
visit.
are we eating?
We're eating the one that the rice cakes, shrimp and rice cakes.
Okay, so how many do we have left?
That says it only takes 15 minutes. How many do we have left?
How much? Corey, I'm talking about in the game. It didn't occur to me you were talking about.
Oh, I thought you were
cheese.
talking about dinner.
No.
Because it was 4:20 and we usually
All
have
right,
it
we
4:30.
still have some spim. How much spim do we have?
We have 12 spam.
Okay, we have.
Well, not exactly your
Okay,
choice.
fine.
We'll keep it from starting death. And we have dried meat weighing 20 part. Not sure what animals came from, but it looks like jerky now.
Yes.
That came from Calb.
It helps to have everything measured in quarks. All I have to do is imagine a Star Trek character stacked 60 times on himself to picture his weight.
Of course, that Star Trek character did not exist when we wrote this game.
Uh-huh. It disappeared. Well,
Quark is from Deep Space Nine, wasn't it?
Yeah,
Yeah, Deep Space Nine was not out when you did this game.
it might have been because we weren't watching television at that time, and we only saw it in videotapes afterwards.
So,
yeah. All right. It disappears from your inventory when you create your magic staff from it, but then for some reason it returns to your inventory once the end game commences. The 101 quality shift made it.
quantity shift.
Quantity shift.
Impossible for me to track its location down.
Huh. Interesting. A waffle elemental? Yeah. Yeah, we would find that waffle information if we were hungry. You just ran for it, I think. Oh, where is it coming from? What
Top.
was it?
Might have been a leopard man. That's true. We could fight things because
Yeah.
we actually have full health, but
Yes, we have.
we have no recourse. And actually, I need to save again because getting out of that darn tree takes a while.
That darn tree should be the name of that save game.
Out of tree. Africa. It's the frickin' tree. Out of tree Africa.
My favorite is when you look at the crates at the dock. Crate. Just crate.
I'm getting tired.
It's night. Alright, it's the leopard man.
Oh, wrong interface. This one. Dazzle. This one. Zap. Weapon is now magically charged. This
Dazzle.
one.
Dazzle again.
Dazzle again.
Yeah. That way you got it one free move.
This one. Flame dart. What if it's not hostile?
Well, it's hostile now.
We made it hostile.
Tap it.
It's a leopard man. They're reputed to be powerful wizards, and this one looks mad. But we've just shown them we're magic users too. It should be our friend.
Ooh, we got 2 off on this one.
No, that was only one. I got to look and dazzle off.
Oh,
It
we
was-
need a reversal.
Oh, I didn't think of that. That's a good idea if it does it again. Shaky Tesla.
You could do a reverse right now, and then their spell will bounce back on.
If it casts a spell.
Well, maybe.
The spell doesn't seem to
Ah,
have hurt
oh well.
him at all.
Oh well.
So they know better than that.
No, they're
On the other hand, they don't seem to be aware of the dazzle spell, or they'd
No,
be
they don't.
protected from it. Should we get into actual combat screen so we can see what his health is?
Wow.
Maybe there is none on this. Maybe it all happens out in the world. We can still cast reversal just to protect ourselves.
Well, it works. You're not taking damage that way. Okay,
It actually works for-
spells for a while.
Apparently we do not get into a combat screen on this one. I think I'll get some distance. Wonder how much magic I have.
Stubborn.
We might not be hurting it. It might be immune to our spells too.
No, not quite.
Leopard Man seems to have missed a tip in the Jungle Survival Handbook. The one that says, never attack anyone tougher than yourself. Of course, when we started, we didn't know. Sturdy Buddy find 9 royals! We're rich!
That's a good deal.
We have not gained any magic from that. That's unusual, but we did gain some intelligence. Our mana is above half, about half.
Okay.
170 would be half, so we're slightly below half. And our health is mostly full. So we actually survived that encounter. Hooray!
Where are we going?
We're trying to get back to Tarna. Oh, let's want to get to the Simbani village because it's so far.
Yeah, we'd have to get to Sabani Village.
Oh, we go to the Pool Peace.
Good.
Simbani village closer.
Also level up individual spell skills by using them. Ah, yes, yes. It's supposed to ask, don't ask where they were storing those royals. They got pouches.
Is there a way to look at a spell? Spell skill is 123. Flame Dart is 165.
Fanny pack, obviously, yeah.
Are we running away from this?
Yes, we're running away from this. Because of all the things we can fight, that's not it.
How do we know?
Well, it took forever.
Because we read our manual.
Yes, we did. Maybe.
I didn't turn my speed up, so. Oh, we just padded around that log.
Cool.
We could be running for days.
We could. It's a
Ah,
stubborn-
so when you say run away in combat, then it automatically turns your speed up to maximum.
Ah.
We got away this time.
See, all it took was going very fast. You've been almost all night long out here.
And it turned my speed back.
Don't much how much spell actually does, but it seems to add a slight scaling on top.
There's a battle about to begin. This one seems
That's
to
a
be
runaway.
eating us.
Okay.
We got away this time.
It's almost morning now that you're back at the village.
Jumbo, Bwana, have you yet seen the prisoner that our warriors have caught?
Woo!
It appeared to have been weakened in a battle and had burn marks all over it.
They got the prisoner.
Great. Missouri,
Ask about the prisoner.
ask about prisoner. We do not usually have prisoners in our village. Mostly we kill our enemies outright. But the Libon wishes to find out where the Leopard Man village be hiding.
It's 4:30, by the way. So we should go to the village and go to sleep.
Yes, ask about Leopard Man. If we could make the leopard man to speak, then maybe he can tell us where we find his village. It is difficult to find a hidden enemy. Ask about Leopard Man Village. It be said that the village of the leopard men be hidden deep in the jungle and protected by magic. I don't want to go there with no healing or mana pills.
I believe in healing.
Ask about magic. Bad thing, very bad. Magic is not for real warriors. Simbani do not do magic. Enemy. Leopard men use magic and hunt at night, so they have never been a friend to the Simbani. It was only when they stole our Spear of Death that they be our enemy. Distinction between not friend versus enemy. Ask about Spear. Oh, Spear of Death be plenty powerful. It be the weapon of the Liban and the symbol of the Simbani warrior. To lose such a thing be a great dishonor. I mean, they'll never be allowed back in the village again if they were in Darna. Something else. Liban. Liban is a very wise man, and many people respect him. But you don't? Ask about village. The village be very peaceful tonight. Simbani. We, Simbani, will easily defeat the leopard men. We be brave warriors, and they be but cowardly users of magic. I'm one of those!
Hello there, says the glorious spider. Welcome, welcome.
They got the prisoner. Usiku. I don't know what Usiku means. Azori Bwana, I be well. Maybe that's his name.
Yes, it is.
I be full of pride for the warriors of Simbani that have captured the prisoner. They will win much honor by this. Enough already. Say goodbye. Kwahiri.
Let's go there and sleep for a little bit.
No, just sleep until morning, or is it? Think. Time of day.
Yeah, Saturday morning.
I think it's too long to get here. Sleep for 1 hour.
Yeah, and then save
Oh,
the game.
that's interesting. It didn't put me on the cushion
No,
when
it doesn't, yeah.
All right, saving the game.
Hey, I resemble that mark. Correct me if I'm wrong, but this wasn't originally supposed to be the third day. Yes, Shadows of Darkness was supposed to be the third game, but there was a 2-year gap between 3 and this game, 2 and this game, that we were doing other things like the remake of Quest for Glory 1 and that, and Corey was busy doing another game. It just made sense to...
But before we get to that, I was about to type in prisoner in the Simbani village. It said that was too long, and so I ended up with prisoner in the village. And that, of course, is a reference to the Prisoner TV series and the place they called The Village.
You hate magic and yet use a magic spear. Curious. Everybody is, got, their brains do not connect. And one thing
Magic items are not
Yes,
the same thing as
yes.
magic spells.
Healing spells, things like that, they're not the same thing as using magic.
And a part of the seriousness of a silly game, wanna split? As in banana split? Yes. Close.
But this should have been Shadows of Darkness. As it is, everything comes at its right time, and Shadows of Darkness came exactly when it should have. It had the best technology, the best resources at the time it did.
We have a rule when we are GMing tabletop games that everything was exactly as it was meant to be. So if a player fumbles, that player was clearly destined to fumble, and it means that he really didn't want to hit the monster.
Or, well, something you would make it explain in
Or
terms
when
of
Lori
game
was
file.
playing my paladin and managed to fumble 3 times in one combat, we decided that character was basically a very undexterous character who was likely to fumble and was kind of a loser character. Multilingual puns amuse. Good.
Yes.
I have fun with those. And, of course, having lived in Germany for a year, I picked up some German. And in high school, I studied Spanish and had 2 years of French.
So we try to...
For 1 year of French.
We
maybe.
try to have multilingual puns, and we try to give verisimilitude to our games by using the actual language.
And
of-
Lori learned some Latin in school. So.
Yes. So, at any rate, that was our game today.
Yeah, and our live stream. And we'll be back, I believe, in 2 weeks.
Yes, which will be.
And I will look at the calendar to see when that
Rather than
is.
Add that up.
That will be the 12th of July.
Yeah.
In the meantime, if you're in the U.S., happy 4th of July,
Oh.
a.k.a. Independence Day. If you
I
are...
used to make egg puns in both Japanese and English, but that was a long tamago.
Tamago.
Tamago, yeah.
Tamago.
Okay, fine.
Remember, Japanese is equal
Yes, okay,
weight on each
fine,
syllable.
Yeah.
A long
Honestly,
tamago.
Even if it broke, the theming and the issues with the points keep me from moving it higher in my personal rankings. I'm glad wages existed. And I always joke, it's obviously the monsoon season, quintessent
Element.
and the center of the compass.
There we go. Yes.
Could be.
That's, yes. So we had each game was tied to a season, an element, and a compass point. So this game, having been inserted, is clearly the center of the compass.
Although
and
I'm not
Tarna
sure.
is the center
I'm
of
not
everything.
seeing too much rain for the monsoon season.
Oh, well.
Yes. Thanks for another enjoyable stream. Ha ha ha. And thank you all. I enjoy lurking and listening. We really enjoy people lurking and
I
listening.
believe the ha 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 refers to the Tamago
Okay,
which
but
was
yes,
very good.
Which was a great pun, yes.
So anyway, I believe July 1st Canada Day?
I don't know.
I think so.
Well, happy Canada Day to all of you.
Happy Canada Day. Happy
Great
Independence
catching
Day.
y'all. Yes. Yeah. There are a few
Okay, if
seasons
you
or
just
years.
come in, you should know that on Twitch you can watch any recent stream done in the last 2 weeks, which in our case means one or every once in a while 2 at a time. And that as soon as I'm done with this, or within a day or two, I will export this stream to YouTube.
And you can catch up on there.
And
so
we have
if
not
you
mentioned
ever...
our YouTube, so I
That's
need
true.
to find that.
Okay, fine.
So on YouTube, we have a channel.
Not an obvious one, but it's a channel
It is
nevertheless.
the Hero U Road to Redemption channel.
Yes.
View your channel. It is at Hero
Yeah, you
U
could show
dash
that
game.
page. You could show that page.
I could,
Desktop.
but we won't have that anymore because I just went off it.
There.
Oh, there it is.
Uh-huh. And you can always catch up there if you miss a week. As for me, I'm heading to Pennsylvania. Yay! For the holiday weekend. Yes, that'll be 4th of July.
I
Yes.
sort of kind of grew up in Pennsylvania. My parents moved there when I was 5, so I went to kindergarten there and all through elementary and through 10th grade. So I was there between 5 and 15, 10 years in Abington and Jenkintown, suburbs of Philadelphia.
And Phil, speaking of Philadelphia, thanks us for another playthrough. Greatly appreciated, much greatly admired. You inspired me to go into gaming, but I ended up being a CAD designer. You CAD, you. Yes.
Alas.
And that's all right, because that's an interesting profession. Any rate, we thank you all for showing up.
So the Hero U channel on Hero U Game channel on YouTube mostly has these streams, but there's a lot of older content. We have all the chapters of Lori reading the book that she wrote with Michelle Baker,
So check it out.
and lots of like promotional
if you're ever
videos.
bored, and,
Yeah,
you
promotional
have
videos for
nothing
games
better
and
to
stuff.
do.
So get over there, have fun.
Join
Have fun
our
in our Discord, have fun in our Patreon.
And have fun in real life.
Oh, that's a great idea.
Play games, have fun.
Get outdoors once in a while.
See you later.
Take care of yourselves.
Bye-bye.